They're two brothers and gamers that have been playing games since the early 1980s. Combined, they have over 65 years experience. Join them each week as they discuss and rant about gaming and entertainment news. This is Generation X Gaming.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another week, another episode of Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories from the past week, and we rant along the way. I'm your host, 30 and Still Gaming, and joining me each and every single week is my brother, Sgt McClusky. What's going on, Sarge?
With time traveling again, it's like I go to work and I see you, and then I go to work and then I see you.
Yep.
And I go to work and I see you, and I'm like, ridiculous.
If it makes you feel better, it doesn't change over on this side. I do the show, I go to sleep, I see my son, then I see you. I go to sleep, I see my son, and I see you.
So what's this? I got like the finger of God over here, over my shoulder. It's like this
over
little,
it's over
this
the
little angelic light.
Yeah, it's your light shining through the. Yeah, what it is. I told you, you don't even need that light on.
I'm being overlooked by Jesus.
Yeah. He's looking down upon you. What's going on, chat? Generation X Gaming is the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories of the past week. We rant along the way. You can listen to us on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Anchor.fm. I did something, Sarge, that I've never done in the entirety of our show. Episode 387 went live on the audio format literally 2 hours after the show ended last week. Never done that before in my entire life, right? We did the show, and then right after midnight, it was up on the actual podcast formats for people to listen to. It was amazing.
I don't know. Is that something you're proud of, or
yeah,
is it just
It's not going to happen this week. It's I have way too much stuff on my
I don't know
plate.
what you wanted me to say, or praise you, or be like, congratulations.
Well, in this day and age, Sarge, everyone needs everyone wants a trophy or a little badge or something.
Okay, I'll mail something to you.
No, I got the goalpost. I'm good. I got the goalpost.
Don't forget to move it.
I do. When we talk about it, I pick it up and start waving it in front of.
No, like literally, just pick it up, and move it over.
Just move it over other ways. Okay.
Yeah, always. Every time that you go live, the goalpost should move like the elf on the shelf.
Oh, okay.
And that way, the joke is every time you watch Mike, the goalposts are moving. Always.
That's true. I like it. I like it. All right. So on today's show, we're going to be talking.
Krebsy,
what's that?
Krebsy didn't take his medication. He's already mad. We haven't started yet. That's his first text. That's his first tweet right there.
Right.
Look at this.
Not hey.
How's it going?
What's going on?
He's got some stuff
going on. Everything's fucked.
Krebsy's got some stuff going on. Yeah. It's starting to come out.
So we're gonna go over Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. They came out with their season 1. What's coming in season 1? They have the trailer that's out. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about Will Smith had a game come out. Did you know this, Sarge? Will Smith had a zombie game, a survival zombie game come out.
Don't care.
It doesn't matter. It flopped, but we're going to talk about that.
Wait, hey, back up. Will Smith didn't come out with a game. A company came out with a game, and was using Will Smith's money. Is that what we're supposed to? I guess what's going on?
Yeah, Will Smith alleged budget for this was $140 million. I don't know if it's $140 million of his budget. I'll tell you. You know what happened? They were making this game, and then he did the Oscar thing, and they were like, "Well, there goes that. That was it. Done." Instant dead.
Will Smith slap money isn't better than Will Smith money?
I guess
it's the same money, bro.
Well, no, he didn't.
The same money.
He didn't.
If you're a development company and you need some money, doesn't matter.
He attacked. He didn't get received. Then we have Monopoly Go, which is a mobile game. We'll talk about how much money it's not making. Being facetious there.
Underperformed.
We're going to be talking about PlayStation reportedly views Bungie as acquisition as a failure. Lots of failures today. I think we might get a call from Abe. Bungie replaces marathon director amid leadership shakeup, fear of layoffs. Lego and Fortnite. We talked about this last week. They were selling sets in Fortnite, but now you can make Lego games within Fortnite. So you can make your own Lego games now inside Fortnite. We're going to talk about Overwatch because no one else is. So we're going to talk about Overwatch 2.
I mean, we can talk about.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Overwatch also.
Yeah, also.
Or we're talking about Overwatch 2.
Overwatch more Overwatch. That's what it's.
Okay.
It's Overwatch
Sometimes I get confused when we use the sequel terms like that. You mean also, or you know what? Never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got it. Then we're also going to talk about PSVR 2 production due to slow sales. Like, they just stopped producing them. We're going to talk about the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection. It's been a week, right? It's been a week since it came out. Feels like a month, but it's been a week, and we'll talk about that. Pal World says that the massive profits are too big for the studio their size, so we'll talk about that as well. We're going to talk about the Harry Potter technically live service, but I had a conversation on Monday about this, but I want to ask you about just where the live service, games of service should go in this and then that's it, and what we've been playing. So that's what's on today's show. If you guys like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do this on Thursday nights. This is 388 episodes. We're just 12 episodes away from episode 400. That'll happen sometime, I think, in June, maybe July. It all depends if we miss any episodes. So we're here every single Thursday. I do live shows in the mornings, Monday through Thursday. I do uploads Monday through Friday and sometimes on the weekends. And then we also have two other channels. 30 and Still Gaming is a gaming channel. Nerding with 30 is our entertainment channel. And then 30 NSG is the live channel. So I appreciate everyone coming out and hanging out with us. Crafty Martin says, good morning. So you must be in Australia? Is that where you are? You gotta be in Australia, Crafty.
He's scaring me because otherwise I don't know what day it is.
I was like, morning. I was like, hold on a second.
I guess sometimes I have to look out the window. I keep my blinds closed too long. I'm like, what day is it?
UK, it's morning? Oh, that's
6 hours.
It's 6 hours. Oh, I guess it is morning, so it's night, but I gotcha.
I mean, I don't know what he means by that. Does he not sleep?
That's what I was going to say, Dave. Top of the morning to you.
Does he not sleep? It doesn't sound like he sleeps.
Well, if he said good morning, that means he just woke up.
That man is up early. that is a 3 a.m. guy.
That's early. The earliest he goes to sleep. That's the earliest he goes to sleep.
God.
It's midnight. It's not. I guess it is more. It is technically morning. Morning.
England is 6 hours.
I know it's midnight. It's morning.
6 hours.
It's still morning. It's a.m. 12 a.m.
I know. So he's saying good. Never mind.
I got it.
I don't want to go down this road. It's real simple. Listen, if you wake up,
yeah,
right, you can say good morning.
That's correct.
But if you're still awake and it becomes 12 midnight where you are, you don't say good morning.
That's what I said. That's why I said that he could have just woken up. That's what I said.
Okay.
Because it would be morning to him if he just woke up.
Woke up from a nap, and then he woke up before midnight. Like, this is why context matters. This is why language matters, and we'll get into that later on in the show.
Oh, first though, we're gonna be what we've been playing. All right, Sarge. Another week. What have you been playing? I know you've been playing a couple things.
Let's go down the list. Let's go down the list of me playing first, and then my hostage playing. Okay, so me playing. It's playing Division 2.
Okay.
The new patch notes came out. The new update came out. The new manhunt thing started.
Oh, did it?
And
that's 3 weeks already? Christ.
4 weeks. And then the patch notes came up and everybody started blitzing. I went to the Reddit posts and I went to a couple other sites. And possibly the worst thing that you can happen to you as a bug in Division 2. Now, I know some of you don't care about this kind of stuff, but so I'm just going to talk about it. And so let's say you've been
only 5 years into it, Sarge. I mean,
let's say you've been playing the game. I don't know, 5 years. let's say you're level 2,700, or I'm sorry, 27,000. Like I saw a guy the other day, 27,000. Right. So you've been playing a lot of hours of Division, and so you have all these builds. Everything's specced out perfect. Right. Your weapons match your gear.
Right.
Everything's great. And then the bug happens where the game decides to re-roll your talents.
Oh, that's
on your weapons.
No big deal.
Right? So you have to remember this. Like, if the game is re-rolling talents, then you have to go back and have to change the talent, or we don't know yet if it changes the talent and it counts as one of the changes. It's fucked up. A lot of people are freaking out.
It's not a big deal.
No
Sorry.
big deal.
Yeah, no big deal.
No big deal. So a lot of Division 2. Got a couple more builds. Working on that.
So wait a minute. I have a question.
Still
Hold on a
still
second.
having fun.
Hold on a second. Have they said anything about this bug?
Oh yeah, fully acknowledged and working on the problem.
What
But
happens?
it doesn't
What
stop the
happens?
fact that a guy who has all the exotics rolled perfect, that is all his guns
Right.
have been re-rolled.
What happens?
That's a big deal. It's a big deal.
What happens though if they can't fix it? What do they do to compensate that person?
They're not gonna.
In my head, only two things happen at this point.
I'm hoping that they'll probably do a refresh state. My hoping is the patch notes that come out will say they're going to do a refresh state to an earlier whatever.
Right, they have to roll back,
and then and a rollback. But until then, I know a lot of people haven't turned it on. Like they caught the patch notes and the blitzing of the problem before they logged on, and so people are not even logging on to their
Right.
game. Because they figure if they log on, then it's going to happen. Is if they're still in limbo, they don't know if it'll happen or not. Like people are not even logging on. So that's the catalyst for them to fix it. Because like, look, you got people don't even want to play our game because our guns are going to get fucked up. So they're not even logging on.
And then we're on the other side where Suicide Squad, no one's playing. So a bug like that could happen and it wouldn't matter.
It wouldn't matter. Right.
But no, for real though, if there's only two ways that could happen, they either roll it back to a earlier date to save it, or if they can't fix it, then that person never comes back and plays the game again because they'll just be like, I'm done.
Yeah, so I don't know if you're familiar with like the speed runs for Division 2, you know, or not the speed runs, but like there's a little blue trophy that shows up every week.
Yeah.
And wherever the blue trophy is,
stuff.
it's the best time inside that mission. Right. And so there was a team of guys, I think it was last week or the week before, that did the Union Civic Center. Right. And it's the stadium, the basketball stadium. Right. It's very close quartered. Right. And so 4 guys, full team, they did it. They did it in like 9 minutes or 10 minutes.
Okay.
On Legendary.
Okay. So they're just literally like
destroying
everything.
Right. They were just basically walking forward. Like, those Navy SEAL movies where the guys
like
are
a
just
pressure washer. They're just
right. They're just walking through that's exact. Full yellow bars, full armor, full everything. They're just smoking everything. It was beautiful to see. Now, once again, a lot of people don't give a shit about stuff like that. But if you're a top level nerd and you know about min-maxing and you know all the time it takes to do that kind of stuff, when you got 4 guys can just mow through a legendary level like that, it's beautiful to see. It's absolutely beautiful to see. So the next thing in the lineup was I got Dune for the Xbox because it was on Game Pass, right? But that caused me to go look for Dune on the PC because it looks so much better on PC. I mean, it looks good on Xbox. Don't get me wrong, it looks good. But just the richness of the colors and what it looks
what
like
game
on
is this?
PC.
I'm sorry, I missed
Dune.
it.
Dune Spice Wars.
Okay.
Yeah. So I caught it on sale. So I bought it. And then I played my first game online against 3 other people.
Is it crossplay between the Xbox and the PC?
I don't believe so. I'll have to check. I don't want to say the wrong thing. Maybe, but I don't believe so. So my first game. Now you have to understand my background. Like when I play these kind of PvP games, I always have like a little anxiety because I always want to do well. I want to win. I don't like losing. Like that's how I end up throwing controllers in the past from losing. Right. And so I've been practicing for like 3-4 weeks now. And so I didn't win. Right. But I did come in second. Now, to me, that's a victory for me.
That's right. If you were a millennial, that's a win.
Well, because the game doesn't end. It's not like a Battlefield match. The game doesn't end in half an hour. Like you're sitting in front of your computer for 3 hours.
You got a badge.
Right. I was up till 2 o'clock in the morning. Like, listen, I know that these guys had to be older because the way that they were playing, like I'm watching how they're playing. It's not just build guys and go kill stuff, right? So like the entire time, like I'm drinking coffee, I'm trying to figure out what's going on because there's like 19 things happening at the same time, right? one guy's doing ground assault, one guy's doing espionage, one guy's doing this, and then you're trying to vote on shit, and then in the corner of the screen, everyone's trying to politic, right? They're all going, "Hey, I think this guy is moving too fast. Maybe you should kill him." And they're like, "Hey, you want to team up?" Meanwhile, he's asking me to team up, and I'm looking in the corner of the screen, and thank God I had guys in counterintelligence, and it says so and so is attempting an assassination while he's asking me for help in the corner of the screen. Like, this is the kind of shit that's going on at 2:00 in the morning. I'm like, this is fucking nuts. This is fucking nuts, right? 3 hours I played this game, came in second place. That's a victory for me, right? I'll take it. I didn't lose by much, but it's a very intense game.
Can you play against the NPCs?
Absolutely.
Okay, because I don't know if I want to play against other people right now if I play that game.
Yeah. No, yeah. Listen, you couldn't even play against the computers without doing an hour of the tutorials and understanding what the fuck is happening. It's not just build and attack.
Everything to me is build and attack.
Then just load up Dune 2, the remaster. That's it.
Build and attack. That's it. I like to see as many guys and bodies and just force the win.
Well, if you like to build and attack,
maybe I'll go play some Civilization, Civ 5.
No, the build. If you like to build and attack in that game, then you want to be Harkonnen.
I don't know what it is. When I played StarCraft, when I played Warcraft, when I played any of those games, I just produce as many things as possible and just keep sending a constant line of just people fighting them.
Yeah. You'd be a horrible general. You'd be a horrible
Go get them, boys!
The more guys we send, the better off we are.
I don't want to go, sir. Get out there. Get him, soldier.
Remember, but there was a whole period of time with those kind of games like Age of Empires, Star Wars Battlefront, the Battlegrounds, Galactic Battlegrounds.
I like Battlegrounds.
Which is basically it was Age of Empires, but with Star Wars.
Can I play that? Is that on Steam? Can I still play that?
I don't know if that's still on Steam.
Chad, is Battlegrounds on Steam?
Yeah. So that was an accomplishment for me. It was really late though. Like I didn't realize how long those games actually take, but it's a very satisfying game for my type of personality, right? Because you're trying to win on multiple levels. And the tricky part in that game is like when they're trying to assassinate you, like they start attacking you on the ground, so you don't pay attention to other stuff that's happening on the screen because there's all these like little warning signs on the screen, and you have to go click on this and look at this and check this out. Like, and so when you're being attacked, you're not paying attention to all that. So I find it interesting that the developers actually made it to where you actually have at certain points in that game, because of the time restraint, right? There's a clock ticking that you don't see, that you know the game's about to end. And the closer it gets to that time period, people start going nutty. Like they start, you got to do like a bunch of things. And so it's sensory overload. At some point during the match, there's always like a critical point where everyone's like, I got to do everything. Like you got to do everything at the same time, and you're trying to figure out what to do first.
I think I might pick this up, Sarge. Battlegrounds, Star Wars Battlegrounds, $6.
Well, how could you go wrong with $6?
$6.
I mean,
sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
I plan on buying Suicide Squad when I hit $6, but I'm not.
Hey,
I'm not.
What do you think it'll go to first, $6 or Game Pass?
Game Pass for sure.
Okay. Sorry. Sure. Continue. You were saying.
So those are the two games I played throughout the week extensively, and then the hostage game I had to play because my nephew kept calling me. Actually, my nephew called everybody around me, and then they were calling me, and like, your nephew wants to talk to you. Right?
Yeah, like, he's good. He's good at getting people to do what he wants.
He's good at networking. He calls everybody around you. If you don't answer the first phone call, the text,
find a way.
He calls everybody around you, and then all of them at the same time are calling me. Like, you called me once. Mom and Dad call me. Like, everybody called me. Like, what's going on? Is someone on fire? Is the house on fire?
Do you know what he does?
Like, no, your nephew wants to talk to you. I'm like, oh, okay.
You know what he does? He calls all the grandparents on a video call,
on a Zoom call,
on a video conference call, and has them all in the same room together, and they don't know it because they don't know how to use technology. So they hear other people's voices. They're like, "Is that it?" And they start talking to each other. It's hilarious. And he just sits back and just laughs. He goes, "Look at this. Look at this."
but they all look like this, right? They all look
like this. Yeah, they're all behind. They're the Wilson from Home Improvement.
Yeah, they all got the eyes just hanging up at the head. Yeah.
It's hilarious. He does it on purpose. He's fantastic. The other day when we were playing a game, he ran into me when we were playing Lightyear Frontier, and he just whimsically just made a joke. He goes, "Sorry, I was on my phone." He doesn't have a phone, first off, right? But he just makes a little joke like that. He's quick, man. He's very quick witted and stuff like that. It's a curse and a treasure all at the same time. So what game were you playing with your nephew? Oh, you're muted. Uh-oh. What'd you do?
How about now?
There you go.
Okay. So I've played it before. It's called Trailblazers.
Nope, it's not called
Right?
Trailblazers.
Yes, it's called. That's
No,
what it is.
no, it's not.
It's called Trailblazers.
No, it's not.
What
Called
is it?
Trail Makers.
Whatever. Trailmakers. Trailblazers. Whatever.
It's Trail Makers. It's not Trail
Whatever.
Blazers.
Whatever. Half the chat doesn't even know what I'm talking about. So
I'll bring it up on so people can see it.
Yeah, bring it up on screen. So what I thought it was is just kind of like a fuck around type of thing. But what I really found out is that the game is really teaching kids about engineering. Like the real deal. Like the settings in the game can be set for gravity on Earth, gravity on the moon, no gravity. You have to make cars, but you have to make the cars with proper suspension and learn how the car moves and how many engines it needs or how much power it needs. Like, and I'm like, this is not a Lego game? He's like, no, it's not a Lego game. And I'm like,
this is an engineering game.
it's an engineering game.
Yeah.
Like it's a serious engineering game. Like, so basically I'm like, I'm making a block with wheels. I'm like, I don't know how to do this yet. Like, because on the controller, of course, it's every button. So every button's in use. So I'm doing this. I'm doing the claw, trying to figure out what buttons do what, right? And I'm making like, box cars with wheels and just say, look, these look amazing, right? Viking ship and all that. Yeah, but they don't tell you how long it takes to make that.
Oh yeah, no. Some of the stuff I'm showing on screen right now, these are
Yeah.
very complicated builds. Very complicated builds.
It's like hours and hours of fucking how to make that.
Trial and error. Yeah.
I thought I found the most interesting thing. I found somebody that made an ultralight, and the ultralight actually worked like an ultralight, like a little go-kart with 3 wheels. You sit in it, and the little fan goes on, and then the parachute, as you're driving, the parachute opens up and actually lifts you up, and you're like an ultralight. And the physics are perfect, right? And depending how you make the controller and how you set the controller functions, because you have to pick when you're making the actual vehicle, then you have to assign the buttons on what the buttons will do for the vehicle. So guys who like spend time on it, they make it easy. Guys who don't know, they're just making any button do anything.
Yeah, and
you're trying to figure out what button does what.
Right, you can create things and put them in the shop so other people can like download them. Like it's not buying them; it's just free to download.
Yeah.
And they sell like skins and whatnot. You haven't even actually played the game. The game is literally you go around unlocking all the different pieces that you can, because you have to try to make a rocket to get off the planet is what you have to do, and you have to go around getting all these different things, and you have to build contraptions to reach certain places. It's a really cool game.
It's basically, I guarantee you that this game, and I swear to God, I know I'm not trying to do a conspiracy theory. Somebody made this game to funnel out STEM kids.
Oh,
that's what this game is for.
Or adults,
right?
Yeah.
No, because what ends up happening is when the game's online like this, they know how long you've been playing for, and so they find out the kids who can actually do the testing, how to get to the space first with all the little contraptions you can make. Then they probably start watching.
Yeah, you could actually. I mean, physics is involved in here, so you have to the weight. So each thing also weighs a certain thing. So you have to balance it out. Like you can make a pirate ship, and you can make different things to float. You have to get the floaters to fill in the water and whatnot. It's awesome. You can make submarines and airplanes and jets, and it's insane.
And everything needs to be done in proportion. You need to know how much thrust you need for the thing to work, how big the wing has to be. But it's done like a willy-nilly, like build some blocks and have some fun, kids. And you're like, build some blocks and have some fun. I don't think that's what this game is.
Yeah.
And of course, my nephew's like, hey, look at this. Like, watch this. I can make this and I can make this. And I'm watching him build a thing. And it's like watching
he's good.
Like Speed Racer. Just he puts it together in like 2 seconds. He's like, okay, let's get in this. What's gonna fly?
So a couple months ago, we played, all of us, me, my son, and Sarge. And we all got in airships, and the airships have like guns on them. So we were like flying in the air, and we were having air battles, right, where we were strafing each other with guns and bombs and rockets. It's crazy. It's really, really cool. And there's really no point. Like, you're just having fun making stuff and seeing if it works. And you're like, try this out, do this.
Yes, but I will say this openly. I'm not a genius by any measure. I'm an intelligent guy. I score pretty high on my IQ test, right? But that doesn't interest me, right? However, it's no big deal to us. It's just some game we're flying out. But for somebody who understands and likes engineering, like that's like Toys R Us for a 4-year-old.
Yeah, it's
right?
infinite Legos.
To be inside the world, right?
Yeah. It's infinite Legos. You can instead of going out and trying to build something with your hands, you're like building it here, and you can make a working model in this game if you wanted to, and then recreate it if you really wanted to.
That's correct. Yeah. You're building mechanical items from scratch by items you have to find in the game. So like you'll be building something, and of course, and this is how the game works, right? You'll be building something. You're like, man, I really wish I had this kind of piece because this kind of piece would do better. And lo and behold, that piece is in the world somewhere for you to find. And so to find that piece, you have to build another contraption to get to that piece, right? So it's like a series of steps. It's actually genius. Like, if you were being manipulated in a wrong way, I would be mad. But the fact that they're doing it to challenge people, to oversee obstacles and problem solve in order to get to the thing that you want to get to is done correctly. I think it's a fascinating game.
It's games like this and like games like Minecraft. I truly believe like Minecraft's one of the best games ever created, right? Not because of the gameplay or the graphics or anything like that, because of the whole package of what it is. It's truly a sandbox game, and you can use your brain and figure stuff out with the redstone and the complications of things. Like it teaches so many different things. Like, this is what gaming to me is. Like, obviously I love the motion picture type of games. I like the really cool, scientific games and the space games. But just when it comes down to the bare bones of kid playing a video game, Minecraft, Trailmaker, stuff like this, where they can just learn, even Fortnite now with the creative mode and building with the Unreal Engine inside and learning how to, like, that stuff to me is awesome. I don't care if you don't like Fortnite or you don't like Minecraft. Those two games are like groundbreaking to the industry and everything.
Okay, so but Minecraft is a little bit different, but it's hidden under innocence.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Mojang made that game where it seems like it's innocent, but once again, the more patches that came out and the more upgrades they gave, it kept giving the game more and more depth, right? And people who figured it out started doing the crazy stuff. Like, remember the time we showed the guy that made a computer
inside
out of
redstone
inside Minecraft?
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, zeros and ones, right? Zeros and ones is the only thing you can do with redstone. And he put together an actual working computer out of redstone inside Minecraft. Like, that's next level shit, bro.
Yeah, I love stuff like that. So what else have you been playing? Anything else?
Well, I was held hostage just playing that one for a while, and that was a multiple day thing because I'm sure he's still on spring break, right?
He's on spring break till Monday. Yeah.
I think those are the two major ones. I tried a few other games on the side, not worth mentioning. They're all right. As you know, I'm in this game trough where I don't buy anything because nothing's worth buying, and I mean that sincerely. I know you guys are bored and you like to buy games, but I'm not buying any more crap.
Yeah, I haven't played.
Not buying any more crap.
I played a little Helldivers this weekend. I played like one round. That was it. I played Lightyear Frontier. This is the game I played on my channel the last 2 nights. I'll bring this up. This game is nice. This is a real laid back farm. I think it's supposed to be a survival game, but it's in early access. Basically, it's a game preview program.
No, not early access, bro. Not early access.
It's in game preview inside of Xbox and Windows and whatnot. And I think it costs $35 or $40, something like that. I played it off Game Pass, but nice little game. You're like, the story of this is that I guess Earth is
in trouble.
Yeah, it's in trouble. It's not livable anymore. You're going off to somewhere else. You crash land on this particular planet. There's a robot up in the sky that's was sent out to find life in the universe, whatever. You happen to crash land on this planet, and then you have your mech, and you're going around trying to find inhabitable stuff to build a base. While you're on this planet, you start to figure out other things. Like yesterday, we beat the story mission so far they've made. You go underground, and there's like this whole base under now, and you have to do these little puzzles. It's a completely cool, separate, completely game that I played for the last, We played for about 10 hours. The last hour of the game, you're like, what the hell is this? It's a completely different game. It doesn't have a survival element to it, so it was kind of boring in that sense. Like, you didn't have to kill any animals or eat to, like, survive. Cool things about this is that you have to constantly upgrade to go, and each section of the map is corrupted. It has some sort of disease or weeds on it that is, like, hindering it from spawning and doing whatever, right? So you have to go around and clean the area in the environment. So it's like an environmentally friendly game type of stuff. So you have to upgrade your vacuum to suck up the bad stuff, and if it's not a tier 1, it's a tier 2. You have to upgrade it to tier 2 or tier 3. You have a saw or water pump that you can spray water, and you have to upgrade that as well. And one of my biggest criticisms of this is the timers are too long in this, okay? So anything you do, you have to put it inside one of these machines, sort of like a Minecraft type of stuff, right? Or any other type of game. And the timers just seem a little long because it's like you need 10 iron. Okay, well, you have to go get the iron, then break that down, put it in this machine, and each piece of iron takes like 2 minutes to do, right? Well, if you need 10 iron, it takes 2 minutes a piece, right? It's 20 minutes of wait time just to get those done. So obviously, you got to build 3 of those machines or 4 of those machines to cut down your time so you can get faster. Well, to get the machines, you need higher end gear. So you see like a little time crunch going on.
It's a time management game.
Yeah, and which is fine. But I just felt like they could have shortened the timers just a little bit. Obviously, I enjoyed it. The storage containers, awful in this game. They only hold 60 pounds, not 60 items, right? So 60 pounds, and everything weighs differently. It's like iron weighs like 5 pounds, and something else weighs like 2 ounces. And so you don't know what you have. Seeds weigh 0. So you would put like fibers in one.
That's gonna piss off some scientists because seeds don't weigh nothing.
Yeah, so certain things weigh more than others. You only got 60 pounds on you. You get 60 pounds in the crate. You can upgrade. This is later in the game. This is almost at the end game. So I built other shacks and stuff that can hold 600 pounds. So you can start putting more stuff in there, right? I literally had 25 boxes, okay, which all fit into 3 shacks. Okay, so it's interesting. There's like an economy in the game where you build a platform. A vendor comes in every morning. You can buy stuff cosmetically. It's almost like Animal Crossing at that point. You can buy like different decorations. They do nothing except for decorations. Like,
all right, so step back from the game. What's the main premise? Like, what is it teaching you? What's the main premise?
Farming. It's basically taking care of a planet. Where if it's disgusting that you have to clean it up, and then you have to farm. So you want to make your own food and make your own stuff like that. That's what it's.
So it's basically teaching you maintenance and survival skills of what you live, where you live. Clean up after yourself.
Yeah.
And how to survive.
Yeah. Keep your stuff tidy. Grow your own stuff.
So once again, if we're going to manipulate people, right, and it's not done maliciously, and it's done in a beneficial way, I'm okay with it. Because it's teaching people morals and scruples. Yeah, right. Take care of your area. Like learn how to take care of yourself. Keep your area clean. Like live like a human being. Got it.
Yeah, there's no bad guys, right? There's no bad guys. And Krebsy's saying needs PvE. Yeah, there's nothing. You're not killing anything. You can attack. You can attack the animals, but it doesn't give you anything, right? So what they teach you is you have to bake these pieces of food to feed the animal, and the animal will then dig up something for you as a reward, type of thing. I didn't do it once. I was playing with First, and First did it and stuff. But yeah, and then if you chop down the trees, they don't grow. You have to plant them again, right? So you have to plant the tree. So it's like Minecraft in that way.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Yeah, it's Animal Crossing in a mech. Yeah, so there's lots of visual, like, cosmetic stuff. You can customize your mech, okay? And you can upgrade the mech, but you changing the parts on your mech doesn't upgrade your mech, right? So it's like internally you're upgrading your mech to have like level 2 vacuum, level 3 vacuum, level 2 saw or whatever. But visually, you could change it and paint it different colors and do different things. And you can also upgrade your vehicle or your mech to become like a tractor, like a farm vehicle. So you can pave. Like I paved this road that you see me walking on. I paved that whole thing. So you can do certain things like that. What I think this game needs, the last hour when we went to the underground lair, which was a completely different thing. It was more like puzzle solving, lots of open spaces. I think they need to add. Obviously, this is a game preview, so the game's not done. This feels like a Grounded did when Grounded came out into the preview program. I feel like this game is at least a year away from actually completing what it needs to do, if not 2. They need to add some sort of enemy of some sort attacking. I don't know if it's just native things to the planet or if it's another alien being that comes down. I'm not saying all games need to have this, like, but it just feels empty in certain things. They have to tune the timers and they have to fix the storage units and whatnot.
Okay, but once again, think about it realistically. This type of game, not for you. It's for little kids.
I guess, sure.
But little kids don't look at the things that you're looking at. They don't care about timers.
Well, no, I'll tell you what.
If anything,
no, that's not true.
If anything, certain kids don't have patience, and so timers are there to teach patience.
Yes, that's it. My son played this with me, and he's like, this takes too long. Right? Like he was out.
Teaching them patience. Yeah, because they don't know patience.
So like each area you had to unlock to heal so it could get different resources, right? So this area here has iron, okay? Where another area might have coal, or another area might have aluminum, and another area might have... So you have to go around and clean these areas up to unlock what they are, because they don't produce until you clean that area up, right? So as you can see here, I'm about to suck up all these things. This area is locked off, and you see that little meter that's above. You got to get to 100% to clean the area, and once you clean the area, the next day it rinses, and then the whole area gets cleaned, and then all of a sudden now you can start resource management.
Does anything in this game grow on its own, or do you have to plant everything?
No, the resources grow on their own, but it's only once per day. So if you plant a tree, it takes like 2-3 in-game days to grow. It's not like boom, it's grown in 3 seconds after you plant it. Like it literally takes 2-3 in-day games.
Is this on PC or Xbox?
It's on PC and Xbox for Microsoft. So
is it on Game Pass?
Yeah, it's on Game Pass. Yeah, it is a fun game. I liked it. I thought it was a nice little. I call it a brain cleanser. Right? It's not very like high octane. I was making fun of it the other day. I was like, "Can you see Dr. Disrespect playing this?" Speed, momentum, farming, you know what I mean? Like you have to get in there and farm. Like it's just very like put a podcast on in the background, watch Netflix, watch a movie or something while you're doing this, kind of keeping your brain. I liked it. I'll go back to it once they add more stuff to it. But we put about 8 to 10 hours in, and I'll be uploading those on 30 and Still Gaming channel so you guys can watch it. It's on Steam too. There you go. So I liked it. I liked it, and I think if you have Game Pass, give it a shot. Or if you have little ones and you want a nice game for them to play, it's definitely a safe game for kids to play. So there's no microtransactions. There is a in-game economy that you can sell and buy stuff, but there's no like exterior microtransactions, at least now. So that's basically the only game I played this week. So let's get to the top stories. All right, so where is my cursor? I don't have a cursor. Let's get to. Let's see. Where do I want to start today? Let's talk about the Will Smith thing first.
I still like this little the hand of God behind me. I gotta get a different light.
All right, so.
Bask in the glow of Sarge.
Even Will Smith couldn't save zombie survival game Undawn, which flopped.
I like the title.
Which flopped spectacularly.
I don't like the title.
What, Will Smith zombie survival? It's just called Undawn. It's just called Undawn.
I don't believe that there's one actual writer in any of game journalists left. There might be journalists out there that are not part of the gaming community that can write an article about video games, yes. But in the sphere of game journalists, I don't think any of them know how to write. Okay. I really don't.
Okay. You don't. Oh, I got
serious.
You. You're saying you don't like the title for the article, not the title of the game.
The way that it is written.
Yeah.
Right. That is not. Look. Read that.
I did. Even Will Smith couldn't save zombie survival game Undawn, which flopped spectacularly.
That's the title.
Yeah, I know.
That's your title.
I can show you some way more worse titles than this.
Just keep going.
So Will Smith fronted zombie survival video game Undawn bombed, according to a new report. Now, Undawn, which is described as a key in-house development game from Tencent, flopped spectacularly, despite being endorsed by the Hollywood star Will Smith, and with an alleged budget of close to 1 billion yen, around $140 million. Sources could publication of Undead had more than 300 developers. 300 developers made this game. PC and mobile game Undawn launched in June to much fanfare, and then did it come out? I didn't even know this game came out. Chat, be honest.
How could you know? How could you know this game came out when there's so much other crap?
But it said
thrown around.
It came out in June to much fanfare. I don't remember it coming out at all.
No
fanfare. Was it like 5 guys in a parking lot, like going, "Hey"?
Once again, words matter. Fanfare would be like a parade.
That's what I'm saying.
Like it was announced. There was a parade. Everyone knows about it.
Yeah,
there was no fanfare.
Like fanfare is like when Apple puts a new cell phone out or the Apple Vision Pro and people are waiting outside the store, and when someone comes out and holds it up and like, yeah, that's fanfare. I don't think there was fanfare. Unless I missed it when Will Smith smacked Chris Rock at the Oscars last year and it was on the stage somewhere when he was advertising for it. I don't know. So PC and mobile game Undawn launched in June with much fanfare that revolved around the digital recreation of Will Smith in-game. And the Oscar-winning actor plays Trey Jones, who acts as your guide to help players navigate the world of years after the global disaster. Okay, so there he is. Look at Will Smith. Look at him. Okay, but even Will Smith couldn't save the Undawn, okay, from failing. The move the needle for Tencent. According to them, they quoted research firm App Magic. Undawn brought the revenue of $287,000 last month. IGN has asked Tencent for comment, and the failure for Undawn is one of the many reasons the strategic shift at Tencent has also resulted in a potential delay of mobile game Assassin's Creed Jade. So there you go. Okay, so this game bombed as a mobile game.
But think of the correlation they're trying to make. Some ridiculous zombie game with Will Smith stuck on it did poorly, so they're rethinking one of the greatest IPs ever if they should release it or not, Assassin's Creed. Like, do you understand the correlation problem? There's like a disconnect. And like if one mobile game does poorly, the reason why it did poorly, and you delaying a game that's been out for 20 years that does well all the time, but you're concerned about it now. It just seems strange to me that you would correlate those two things. Right?
Here's the game. This is Undead.
Please let me see it. Undawn.
I'm sorry.
You said Undawn, not Undead.
It's
Undawn.
Let's be honest. Who gives a shit? Okay, it looks like the day before or the day after.
What a surprise!
Or never released.
What a surprise! Oh, look at that '90s menu in the middle of the screen, bro. There's a deal breaker right there. I walk up to someone. There's a giant box. There's a box on the screen that says "search."
This is like this is a mobile game. This is a mobile game. Remember?
Yeah, the mobile games are 20 years behind as far as we know how this goes. But
I had to say for a mobile game, it doesn't look that bad. You know, it looks really.
That's correct.
Yeah, it looks
it's
good.
On my phone. Yeah. Yes.
Looks like PUBG Mobile. So there it is. So that bombed in the mobile world. Okay, and
you understand. This is a whole big discussion. Keep going. I'll throw the hand grenade. I'll throw the hand grenade when it's time.
I'm going to move to the next. I'm going to move to the next story, which is also a mobile game. So
that's fine. Keep going.
Okay. So from that mobile disaster to the opposite spectrum, right? So there was 300 to 400 people that made that game that you just watched. Okay.
400 people.
400 people. Was it 400? Or was it 300? Oh shit.
Let's call it 350.
Let's call it, let's say 300. 300 developers. 300 developers made that game. Just think about this. Now, the day before was made by 2 guys and a bunch of volunteers, and that was made by 300 people for a mobile game, right? Now, here's the other spectrum, okay? The Monopoly Go. The Monopoly Go devs, okay? The Monopoly Go devs on marketing that cost to develop as much as The Last of Us. They spend as much money marketing, if not more, on marketing for Monopoly Go than what Last of Us cost total. Okay, so the free-to-play mobile Monopoly Go has been surprising success story in the mobile space. Coming out in 2023, the most successful mobile launch with $1 billion in revenue. Developer Scopely has revealed in an interview that the game has now brought in over $2 billion in the first 10 months. And now the company has spent an eye-watering $500 million on marketing and user acquisition. Okay, Scopely's Senior Vice President Publishing, Eric Wood, revealed that the marketing numbers in the interview with GameFile after Monopoly Go's $2 billion milestone was announced by CEO earlier this week. They also put $500 million marketing budget in perspective. A poorly redacted document last year leaked a set of budgets for some of PlayStation's biggest AAA games, which revealed that The Last of Us Part 2 cost $220 million to develop, and The Horizon Forbidden West cost $212 million to develop. Scopely CEO Javier delved a little deeper into where the marketing is spent when he's also in the blog post, revealing that Monopoly Go's marketing team created localized marketing for every region where the game was available. Our marketing team was a fierce advocate for taking the hypocritical approach. He says, in turn, much of the upfront marketing investment went to developing individual creativity and reflected the language and the culture of every country where the game was available. Right? This is nuts, dude. Okay, $2 billion for Monopoly. Okay, Monopoly, which breaks up friendships and relationships in a board game form.
Yeah, but it's not. You're not
I
playing
know.
Monopoly.
No, I know.
Right. Okay, so here's the issue. We all talk about, and when I say we all, we're talking about the younger group. I'm the old guy. The younger group talks about console gaming, PC gaming, and the things that we grew up with. The mobile market and the games that they're trying to get are for people who are older, who were console people when they were younger and then became adults and now play some type of game on their phone, but they don't play console games like we play console games, bro. Right. I'm an old man. I keep playing video games because that's like a hobby now. I enjoy video games, right? Not everybody's like me. You don't have fucking time, right? However, during your busy day and your power lunches and all the stuff that you do during the day,
I got 10
you
minutes
have
to kill.
maybe 15, 20 minutes on the can or something else that I could pull up some kind of mobile game to keep me busy, right? And so that's their market. Now, if I can sell you a free-to-play game, and I use that term loosely, sell you a free-to-play game, you know what I'm talking about, right? If I get you to download a free-to-play game that you get attached to, right, and a normal game is $40, $50, but I get your reoccurring money every time you take a shit, so that's once a day or twice a day if you're healthy, right? Once a day for years, and I'm getting $10 out of you. I'm getting way more money out of you per year than I would if I just released the game, right? And that's what they count on, right? That's why they spend $500 million on marketing, because everyone's just forking over $2-3 at a time, 7 days a week.
Well, what I like to look at is that this is $500 million. The budget of the game didn't cost them $500 million to make this game.
No.
Okay. But my point is, I would like to know what the budget was to make this game, and then look at what the marketing is for this game, right? And then we look at, because people don't believe this, right? People don't believe that marketing is double, if not, more than what a regular game costs. So if a game costs 100, right? People take it loosely because of movies. They're like, oh yeah, whatever the budget is for a movie, you take it half of what the budget is. No. Double, if not 2.5 times what the actual cost of the movie cost, right? And same with video games. So if your video game cost $100 million to make, it's going to cost an additional $150 million to $200 million to market. Okay. And marketing is very, very, very important. And reading this and them saying that the marketing team was the big guys that went to every single region of what, where it was popular or where people could play it to market that. So they were spending, more money in certain places. They know that type of player base, who's going to spend more in what area, in what region. Okay. This is impressive though, because you look at the other game that we just saw, made $237,000. That was it. Okay. Meanwhile, Monopoly Go made $2 billion off a mobile game, which not...
Yeah, but $2 billion when? In a season?
In 10 months.
In a year?
10 months.
Okay, so less than a year, $2 billion.
Yeah, $2 billion in less than a year.
Okay, so why do we think so close-minded that mobile gaming is not a big deal? Why do we think that because you don't play it or we don't play it, that it doesn't exist? When we know damn well that it's probably going to be the largest share of the pie probably in the next 5 years.
Well, that's exactly why. That's exactly why Minecraft. I mean, look. This is the gameplay. Look at this. Right. This is why Microsoft went to mobile. Right, because they don't need to develop a God of War or a Spider-Man. They can literally just take a game like Candy Crush or something else and make this. Right, look at this. Which reminds me, Sarge, we should really think about getting with somebody to make the Weekend in Vegas mobile game instead. Okay, real talk.
Oh, for sure.
Real talk.
Because it fits into there now. It'll fit in there now.
Yeah. Right. So it's
but you know that let's say the conversation went really well, they would just turn it into some kind of microtransaction hellscape with casinos and stuff in it. That's what it would be.
Sure,
our game would I would be selling my soul to Satan.
But we talked about that. Remember when we talked to the people in Vegas? They're like, "This is what we want to do," and I was like, "Yeah, I don't want to do that."
Yeah, but they took our idea anyway. Remember what
they
MGM
did make a game.
Did.
It's on Facebook.
They did make a game. Yeah. It is on Facebook.
MGM made a game off of our idea,
and they did it exactly how we said.
Exactly the exact same. Yep.
Yeah, it's amazing how that works. Huh?
Yep. It's called. I think it's just called Vegas, isn't it? On Facebook.
Yeah, I forgot what it's called, but everything that we talked about and gave them ideas for, they basically implemented it in that game. So that's why I stopped talking to people, because all they do is steal your ideas.
Yeah, let me see if that's the. Is this the game? I think this is the game. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, they made it a casino game, but there's a strip.
Nobody talks about it, Paul. Everyone pretends like it doesn't exist. Like the mobile market doesn't exist. We're still arguing about things in the console and PC world, right? All this drama we're talking about. Meanwhile, the companies that are doing all the drama here have a segment of their company doing mobile shit and making billions. They don't care. They don't care. That's the whole point. When you see a game come out broken, buggy, and unfinished, it doesn't matter to them because their mobile gaming division just made $4 billion.
Yeah.
So you complaining about your game being broken on day one, they don't give a shit. It doesn't matter to them.
Like, think about the stories I just covered this week on the morning show, right? We're going to cover it. We'll cover it right now, right? Well, let's go from this about the Monopoly Go to
Armageddon.
To Overwatch, right? Overwatch 2. Okay. Overwatch 2. Okay. Overwatch 2, which the very first Overwatch was sold as a free-to-play game, and they charged you $40, which then charged you $60, then had loot boxes, and then had all this stuff. Then they told Overwatch and then said, we're making Overwatch 2. It's going to have PvE. It's going to have a PvE story. We're going to have a skill tree. We're going to have all this stuff. And then they go, oh, by the way, we're not having the story mode in there anymore, but we're still going to have PvE inside the game. And then all of a sudden, the PvE didn't come out. And now there's devs, okay, fear that the story missions have been canceled completely. So you look at a game like this, okay, and during this article, because I remember reading from it earlier today, their plan to do Overwatch 2 was to do story campaigns, like for the PvE stuff, and to do 3 story missions, but to drip those out over 18 months. Okay, so like very, very little type of stuff that we're going to add to this game. Okay, and it's just funny to me because you look at what it costs to make a Monopoly Go game, and it makes $2 billion. Return on investment on that is huge compared to sitting with, at one point they said they needed 400 people to work on a PvE and 400 people to work on PvE. They needed 800 people to work on this game. 800 people to work on Overwatch 2. Meanwhile, No Man's Sky, 25 people working on the game, okay? I understand it's a completely different game, okay? But then you look at certain these things, they wanted 800 people to work on this game to make PvE and PvP, and it takes them 5 years to make it. Meanwhile, Monopoly Go, you pay 10 guys to work in their basement for the next 10 months, and then $2 billion later, and it's absolutely crazy to me, right? And then,
why is it crazy?
Why is it crazy?
When Blizzard had to have quality products, everybody was on the same team, and they released the game when they had to release a game. If you can't tell by today, if you don't understand what's going on internally, the conflict of interest that's happening within the company, why so many people are leaving, why these games can't come out on time, is because they're not sitting in a room and agreeing what they want to do. Everybody wants to do what they want to do. There's no cohesion, right? This game should have been out 6 years ago, right?
It was out. It was out. It was out 6 years ago.
No, but out and done 6 years ago. Not this constant changing of this, and we're going to make it a story game, and we're going to release a story. Like, nobody had any cohesion of what they were actually going to do, and this has been going on now for a fucking decade, right? It's getting worse every year.
For at least Overwatch.
Every year. And Diablo 4 should be the cherry on the shit cake that is Blizzard. Look what's happening. How do you?
Well, they're fixing
how do
it now,
you not
Serge.
know?
They're fixing it now.
Please.
It's all fixed now.
Please.
Season 4. All fixed. Put
your Band-Aid on the missing arm and call it fixed. Whatever you want to do.
The funny part is, look, I'm a person that's trying to protect the customer from buying a broken, buggy game, right? And I make this talks about games that are broke. It has nothing to do if a game is bad or good. If you like it, that's subjective. Okay, I'm talking about games that are broke, buggy, unfinished when they come out, and then games that are finished. Okay, they get shit on because they're not good games, but they're actually games that actually work. Okay, like there's games that come out that are broke, buggy, unfinished, and it takes them 18, 24. Yeah, not all. There's games that come out that are. I can name maybe one.
Leave out the indies. Leave out the indies.
No, if it's a major game, yeah, no. If it's a major game, there's always internet issues. Okay, and then people are always like, "Well, it's gonna happen." No, this game broke, buggy, unfinished. Right? It was never going to be finished. In the article, they even say ex-developers that left said it was going to take 18 months just to put in 3 missions. Okay? They were slow dripping this stuff because it's all about the cosmetics. It's all about the battle pass. It's all about that stuff, right? To sell that type of stuff. When you look at games that come out and they're online only, but you can't play the online mode because it's broke, buggy, unfinished. Okay? You look at games like Battlefield and Battlefront, and you look at Battlefront, the classic collection, right? All of this stuff comes out broke, buggy. That's a game that took 20 years ago, was done. All they had to do was basically just relaunch it, do a couple of fixes, and they went, let's do the bare minimum possible. Okay? So from Overwatch 2, let's go to, wait, where is it? Here it is. After a chaotic launch, Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection devs omit critical errors were made as it works to address the multiple issues and the increased network stability. How? Sorry, it's talking about titles, huh? Look at that title. That's a long fucking title, isn't it? Okay. It's a paragraph.
They don't know how to write, bro.
Okay. The game came out 20 years ago. You could buy the 20-year-old version, and it's in better shape than what this game is. How, as a developer, Aspire is not like they just started. They started in 1996. Okay, they've been almost there for 30 years. It's not like
fair, not the same people though, bro.
Sure,
to be fair,
sure, but a little kid knows a knife could hurt them without being stabbed. Okay, like they see someone get hurt, they're like, oh, I'm not gonna do that. These guys see video game after video game come out, not being worked, not being finished, having online problems, and they're like, got
my
this.
beer.
We got this.
Hold my beer.
We're going to give you a 20-year-old game and then put it out, and there's going to be 3 servers. Oh, but wait, we're working really hard. We put a couple of other servers up. Oh, wait, it's a week later. Still, we put a couple patches out. Still not working.
Doesn't matter.
It's so frustrating.
It doesn't matter. What you fail to understand is that nobody's been pissed off enough to find the legal loophole in which that we can sue, or someone will sue, a development team or a publisher for fraudulent consumer, right? Some issue, some law loophole where you are basically trying to sell the snake oil to the public, right?
Yeah.
That's basically what has to happen. So the definitions of all the words have to be solidified in order for lawsuits to take hold. See, you're allowed to say we made a game, right? And then you can say it's not a real game, it's not finished, it's broken, buggy. But to them, the definition of game is something that they made up that does what it's supposed to do and it works as intended, right? So that's a definition of a game to them. So then you can't say that they didn't make the product. All they keep telling you is, well, we made a product, you just didn't like it. So that's not consumer fraud, right? Like that's the legalese. eventually someone's going to find the loophole in which to attach responsibility for fraudulent product made by a publisher or development company. And when that day comes, this whole house of cards of releasing garbage anytime you want and collecting money will end. Until then, the only way, and I'll say it every week, the only way this stops is for you to be completely excited. You go on the websites all day long, tell them, it's the best thing ever. I can't believe what kind of game this is. This is amazing. But when it comes out, you don't buy it. You just don't buy it.
Yeah.
Right? All you have to do is shift your life over 3 months, right? If you're excited, if you're excited about a game, right? No, 3 months. If you're excited about a game that's coming out in April, right? Like you have to have it. Just say to yourself, I'll buy the game in September, right? That's it, right? You love the game. Great. You waited 5 years already. You can't wait 3 more months. Right? I don't believe that you guys have the lack of willpower to do that. I believe as adults who spend money for entertainment that you know that if you waited 5 years for something, 3 months is not a big deal.
No.
I say let them fucking sweat. Don't pre-order, don't buy day one, but yes, we are going to buy the game, right? Yeah, I fully intend to buy this game, but in September.
Right. And that's too early because the game's still going to be broke in September.
It's still going to be broke, but you let them sweat for 3 months that the game sells nothing. Let them sweat, right? Then things change. But if you believe in your heart of hearts that you have to have this piece of entertainment, I have to, because my life is so stressful. If I don't get the brand new game that I love and cherish and want to hold it and pet it and call it George, if I don't get that game, then my life's not going to be complete.
Right.
And then when it comes out, you have the balls to go online and complain about the game is broke, buggy, and you're so unhappy with it.
Right.
That's on you. That's on you.
My thing is, everyone has such a backlog of games that you don't even need to buy the next new game.
Got the Library of Congress behind me.
Yeah.
Backlog.
You don't have to buy the next game because your game blog is so backlogged, okay, that
you don't need a game.
You don't need a game for the next 6 months if you played all the games in your backlog. Okay, and here's the worst part about the video game industry. Okay, at least if I go to the movies and pay my $10 or $15 to go to the movies, and it's a bad movie, it's over in 2 hours. Okay,
no, you get in 30 minutes you get your ass up and get your money back.
True, but what I'm saying is within 2 hours, it's like, okay, it was a bad movie, I watched it, done. This I got to pay pre-order prices, then I got to pay either normal prices now, which is $70. Okay, then the game comes out, and then I'm like, oh, well, there's a day one patch, didn't fix it. Then there's a week 1. Then there's a week 2. Then there's a week 3. There's a month 1. Then there's a 2 month. Then there's a 6 month, right? And it's still not working. But you paid your money up front, and you're just like, it'll be good. I'm having fun. I'm having fun. The problem is you're having fun with the broken fucking game instead of having fun with the game that's supposed to be complete, right? And that's the problem.
It doesn't matter. Here's what you have to do. Every game that comes out broken, buggy, look up the company and see if they've got a mobile division. Look up every company that comes out with a broken, busted game and see if they have a mobile division. If they have a mobile division, then don't.
Well, Activision Blizzard has a mobile division. They just launched Call of Duty.
For your game to be fixed. Don't worry. Don't bother waiting for your game to be fixed. Hey, how's Call of Duty Mobile doing? Doing all right, right? We're doing all right. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
The hype is so big for any game that comes out right now. Dragon Dogma's 2, right? Everyone wants Dragon Dogma 2.
Sure
I watched a couple of videos. There's a couple of problems with the game as far as stability inside the towns and frames. I'm not a big frames guy, so I don't care if it's 30, 60 or whatever. But there's a problem. They said, it'll be fixed on day 1. Now I don't know if that patch went through yet. Okay, I think it comes out tomorrow. I think people are pre-ordered early or whatever. But I don't care how good the game is. Diablo costs $70, $100 for some people. That game is still broke. Still buggy. They just did a big thing. They're making so many changes to the game, Sarge. It's a completely different game. Okay? And now, think about this. If you're a Game Pass guy and you bought Diablo on Xbox, it's on Game Pass. You don't even have to buy it now. You could just have played it on Game Pass. Okay? Instead of paying $70 and waiting 10 months for it to get back to what it's supposed to be at launch. Right? We are 100% the problem in this scenario, and they will never change because we keep feeding, right? Yeah. Don't feed the ducks. Ducks are shitting all over my property. Don't feed the ducks. Oh, the ducks are fun. I keep feeding them. Here it is. Keep feeding the ducks, right? Oh, these ducks are shitting all over my property. It's like, hello? Hello, McFly. You know what I mean? Like, we are the problem.
Biff,
yeah.
Biff, you
we are the problem.
It never ceases to amaze me. I don't know how many times you need to be smacked in the face. Like, it's like someone punching you and taking your wallet. Every time you walk down the street, you get to that intersection before you get to work, and you get mugged. You get mugged every week, and you keep going.
Oh, I know that guy. He's fine.
You go down the same street and cross the same intersection. You get mugged every week, and you keep telling yourself, "Well, what's not going to happen next week?" And besides, it's so much easier to go to work this way, right? And so that's how you convince yourself that it's okay to keep getting robbed. Is because it's just so much more convenient. Like if I went around the long way, right? This is how you think about it. If I went around the long way, I would still get mugged. But it would just take me longer to get to work. Like that's your mentality. My convenience is the distance to the goal. But if I keep getting robbed, it's still okay. Like that's your reasoning. Like I don't understand how that works. How do you live your life that you get dicked every week, but you keep saying thank you? May I have another?
I mean, you're right about you waited 5 years for this game to come out, and
what's 3 months?
What's
3 months?
What's even just a week to wait for a review?
No,
right?
You have to have enough time has to pass for them to shit the bed.
No, but I'm saying, though, you would know by a review or by what people are saying about the game within a day or week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you didn't hear the complete story when I talked to you. I said everybody goes online and says they love it. Everything is amazing. This is the best game ever.
I see what you're saying.
You tell them how amazing it is.
Yeah.
You blow up the internet with all this positive thumbs up. Go to IGN and give them a 9 out of 10. Awesome. But when the game comes out, nobody buys it. Let them sit in that moment where they're like, I don't understand. The internet said the game was amazing. IGN gave it a 9 out of 10, but nobody's buying the game. Let them sit in that moment and go into panic that nobody wants your piece of shit. Let them know.
Right.
Otherwise, what are we doing? Right? If you think I'm putting my foot down because I'm living in this backlog nonsense right now. The last game I bought, the last console game I bought was Marvel's Avengers.
Yeah.
Everything else I've played has been on Game Pass. That's it.
Right.
And like Dune Spice Wars came out. How long do you think Dune Spice Wars has been out?
Well, out. It's been out since September, I think, right? August, September?
No, a year. It's been out over a year.
Well, no. It came out on console in September. Computer,
fine.
Over a year. Yeah.
Over a year. So, just like, I forget who said it in chat. Somebody said it. Yeah, Crowded House. Gamers have so many backlogs, they should never have to buy a game on release ever. This is true.
Right.
But you have to have your drug. I know that the world is fucked up. I know someone's life is miserable. Like, you love your girlfriend, but she's a pain in the ass. And when that Tuesday comes around and the game release comes out, you just want 3 hours alone in your house when she's still at work so you can just be happy with your new game. I know the feeling. I know. But if the game comes out shitty, which is now a 90% fact, right? You just give them the money anyway. They don't care.
Right. And you're pissed off now because the game doesn't work.
And she's coming home in 45 minutes. I just wasted 2 hours playing a shitty game. Yes.
I couldn't get into the goddamn play. Yeah. I just want to play the game. I just want to play the game. Yeah. Yeah. The problem, my thing is, I don't really have a backlog of games. I have a couple games I play and then I don't go back to, and I'm never going to go back to. But for the most part, I play the game until I beat it, and then I move on, right? And then I never touch that game again, right? I played Starfield over a shit long time, then I stopped, and then I went back, finished the game at the very end, and then when DLC comes out, I'll go back, right? I just played the Lightyear Frontier, right? Just a free Game Pass game. I paid it for 10 hours. I beat the story. I'll be back when it comes back, right? So I don't have really a backlog. I just kind of just leave them once I'm done playing it, right? If that is completing the actual story or putting about 60 hours in, because I usually try to do, if I pay money up front, $30, then I want to get at least 30 hours in. I do for myself $1 an hour type of thing.
But you have inflation now, bro. You need to factor that in a little bit.
Sure, okay, I'll do that. Okay, but if I pay $30,
it's more like $1.25 an hour.
Oh, okay.
Or $1.30 an hour.
So, but that's the way I look at stuff, right? And it all depends on what type of game it is. If it's a single player story indie game, it's gonna be a couple hours. Like Oxenfree, I bought Oxenfree. We didn't put 20 hours into the game. We put like 10, 11 hours into the game. But I enjoyed the game.
There's a game called Oxenfree?
Oxenfree and Oxenfree 2. Oxenfree 1's better than Oxenfree 2. Yeah.
As in like Ollie?
As Ollie Oxenfree, yeah.
Okay.
So
is that a joke?
No,
Is that a joke from you? Or is that just the name of the game for real?
no, it's the game of the joke. It's not a joke. It's the name of the game. It's called Oxenfree.
The name of the game is called Oxenfree.
Yeah.
Okay.
You saw me play it. What's going on, Buck? Yeah, so there's games I play, and then there's like the new games. A lot of people come into my channel. Are you going to play this? Are you going to buy this? I don't have the money to buy all of these games when they come out because I won't touch it. So like a game like Dragon's Dogma 2, right? Leading up to yesterday, I thought you had to play 1 to play 2, right? So I was like, I'm not going to play 2 because I haven't played 1. $5 on Steam, I was going to play 1, and everyone's like, oh, it's not attached anymore. It's like a redo or remaster. It's different, takes place in a different time. But I was like, 200 hours in that game. If I pay $70, I gotta get 70 hours into at least the game to get my money's worth. I was like, I don't know if I have time to put into that game. I'd rather go back to other games I already have to play that I'm still enjoying. Like I can go back to BattleBit Remaster. I can go back to other games that I bought. So it's a little weird for me personally, but as a YouTuber, as a content creator, I want to get newer games to play for people, right? Because obviously, as a business expense, if people sub to the channel, or not sub, but get membership to the channel, I take that money and put it towards a video game, and I take that video game and then start playing it. Like, for instance, Elle bought me South Park Snow Day. So next Tuesday, right, it was a gift from them. I'm going to play it on stream, right, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. So to show people, like, hey, this is what the game is, okay? I'll tell you if it's broke. I'll tell you if it's buggy. I'll tell you if it's good. I'll tell you if it's bad. I'll give you my opinion on it, but I'll let you know if the game works on day one. And if it does, then go ahead. Go out and buy it. But if it's not working on day one, don't pick it up on day one. Don't buy a game to force them to be like, well, this guy's having fun on Twitch or this guy's having fun on YouTube. Make sure the game works before you spend your money. Don't pre-order a game because it's never going to change, man. It's never going to change. They're going to keep giving you broken, buggy games. I know Pal World was fantastic. Servers were shit. Okay? Suicide Squad, I had fun in. Servers were shit. Helldivers is an awesome game. Servers were shit. Last Epoch's a great RPG. Servers were shit, right? So instead of having server overload and keep pressing A to try to get in, just wait. Just wait down the line. The game's going to be there for you when you get back. There's no job application that'd be like, so Sarge, I know you want a job here. What was your level on Last Epoch? Did you play on day one? Did you play Pal World on day one? What's happening here on Helldivers? Were you there for the robots fight on Creek? Were you there? Were you there at the time? Like, this is not happening. Okay, so can we all stop? Can we all stop buying the game and then bitching about the game that it's broke?
But this is why I watch your morning streams, but I don't involve myself in any of the new games because I don't buy them. I don't buy them. I can't. I'm watching my hobby go down the toilet. I'm watching cracked teams of guys who've been vets in the industry for over 20 years, who've made some of the best games ever, fragment and dilute themselves into a bunch of developers who are chasing trends and trying to sell live service like it's like it's blood in a hospital. Like that's the only thing that they're trying to sell is because they have to get to that money. They have to get to that live service because live service equals gold. Right? That's what they hear. And so they're all chasing trends. Nobody's trying to set a standard anymore. Like that thing you saw today that you watched, what they're doing with Unreal Engine 5, that's a beautiful segment of what they're talking about for that game. However, when I watched that video, and I watched it twice, and how they speak about things and how they teach you how the engine's supposed to do this and the engine's supposed to do that. Meanwhile, this engine has been out in that form for like 3 years. So all I keep hearing when they talk about what they can do with the engine is how much more expensive your game is going to be.
Right, which should be cheaper.
Right, because everything they're doing cuts down on resources for actual people. Designing games is easier because of the new engine they came out with, but for some reason we still need 400 and 500 people to make a mobile game.
Yeah.
Like I don't believe all this for a moment. Like not for a moment. If you can't come out with a decent game and your budgets are overblown and you're not a mobile game and you're not collecting money on a daily basis, your game just comes out. Like this is an issue for me. Nobody actually cares about the product. They say they do. They keep making these videos that they do. I love, and by the way, if you haven't noticed it by now, all the videos about how they care are all the same. They always show the guys in their own office, right? They show them at their desk working diligently,
B-roll,
and in the background,
them working,
in the background, the voice is always somebody who's reading off a script.
We here at such and such company, we really care about everybody.
It's almost like the same video you would watch if like you were getting hired by the company, like why you want to be there.
I know
it's the same exact. It's the
I
same
know those
exact
videos
speech.
very well. I made those videos for lots of companies.
It's exactly the same. It's exactly the same. So for me, right, your speeches and how you made the game and how much thought and care you put into it, like none of that matters, right? None of that matters. And I'll give you a better example. In any other fucking field of any other job that you're paying money for, nobody cares. If I get a plumber to come in and fix my fucking sink, do I have to hear the long speech about why he wanted to be a plumber and the fact of where he buys his pipes from and his tools and all the stuff, and he's so passionate about it? Did you fix the fucking toilet, right? Does my toilet work?
I mean,
yes.
I talked to my plumber.
Money done, and we're done. Same thing for a video game. I don't personally care. Now, they want to say it's something else now because it's art. Well, great. If it's art, then I'm allowed to actually piss on your art while I tell you it's good and then spit in your face because I don't care about your fucking art. I care about the product that you tried to sell me, right? You're trying to sell me a product. I'm trying to look for a product for a good deal. That's how this transaction works. That's what a free market is. But if you keep trying to sell me something that you didn't actually make and then keep wanting me to buy the same product over again, then that makes me fucking retarded on multiple levels, and it makes you the biggest scumbag ever to work.
Right. Well,
because you still get to exist. If the plumber kept fucking up, he's out of business. But a video game company can keep doing the same thing to you over and over again, and yet somehow they miraculously find some more money from somebody else's pocket to make the next game. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah. What's going on, dude? So, what did you think about? So, I thought the tech talk that they were talking about for the 1943 Rise of Hydra. Did you saw the video that I did earlier?
I watched it twice.
Yeah.
Yep.
So visually, I'm blown away by what Unreal is doing, right? Just amazed by the technology of what it's doing. And at the same time, I'm looking at it going, that's not going to be that game is going to be a movie game, which is fine. I like movie games. I would rather, and I mean this, I would rather play Captain America in between like an Uncharted type of thing and then watch a bunch of cutscenes and stuff and to be entertained in that piece of entertainment because I pay $10, $12, $15 to go to the theater. It's 2 hours, done. This, I pay $60, $70 now for that, and I'm getting 10 to 20 hours into that, right? You know what I mean? So I'm getting a lot more time with that because technically I have to go see 4 movies to get the same kind of price point for that.
You're acquainting it for value, right?
That's right, exactly right, a value.
But that video basically is exactly the same as the video they show every so many years. Just like it was for what was that game? That game, 1886.
Yeah,
right?
1886.
Right.
Back in 2012, looks beautiful.
So basically, they're just showing you the possibilities. They try to get you excited about where the industry is going. Like, this is what we can do. Great, you can do that. However, can you do that in the budget confines that you have in order to make the game and make it look like that? And the answer is no, because they can only spend so much. A budget's a budget. Yes, it looks amazing, but how long is that game? And how many different, I guess, universes and worlds are you making inside the game? Like, how many areas am I visiting that you spent all this time on to introduce me to this world? It looks amazing, but the game's only 20 hours. But that's what it is.
Right.
At this level, the game's a 20-hour game. It should be no big deal. But they talk about it like, this is the engine, and from now on, every game looks like this. Like, that's not how it works.
She said on Amy Hennig said in an interview about, I think it was like 6 years ago, she talks about how games need to apply to more people, right? Because the budgets are so big, they need to be more general to the public, right? They can't do a niche community, right? Like lean it towards one person, right? So, like, for instance, Dark Souls is a finite group of people that like those types of games. But Elden Ring came out. It was a broader audience that could play that type of game. So she was talking about a couple of years ago that it's very broad. They need to make it for a broad audience and make it for more people. So when they make games like this, and I love the technology of it. I love the graphics that it looks like, but that game's not going to be a very difficult game. It's going to be like, you die maybe once, if that, and you're just going to continue through, press the A button, watch the cutscene. It's a movie game, is what it is.
I give them credit because it's been a long time now, and they know what's happening in industry. They needed to find something positive to talk about, and so they're showing you what the new engines are capable of. But once again, let's go down the road that we've been talking about now for months and almost a year now. Great. That's what the in-game engine looks like. This is what games can look like. Okay, so let's back up a little bit and let's look down upon this from above. If that's the engine and that's what the games are going to look like, but in the future, nobody gets a console. We're not trying to make consoles anymore. We're trying to go cloud, right?
So they have to lower it, yes.
So the only thing I'm looking at now is if we're going to get rid of consoles, that leaves PC and then this cloud shit. That's all it's going to be. So if it's going to be cloud and PC only, and that's the engine we're looking at, how does that translate from your servers in Tennessee all the way down to where I am in Florida? Does the game look like that on the cloud?
Right.
Or do I not bother buying a console? I just get for PC now because we know that shit isn't going to fly across an entire data network. I'm trying to be realistic here. If you don't think I'm looking positive towards the future for video games, you're incorrect. However, I've seen enough to know that all the promises in the world don't make up for the infrastructure that's happening and where the industry is headed. If we're not making hardware, then what is running this game that you keep talking about? Well, what's running it?
The way they look at the tech test, this is two things. One is to whet your appetite, as far as chat is also saying, where if you're a gamer, you're like, oh, dude, that looks so good, right?
Of course.
That's bringing you in. That's almost like a pre-order, right? You're like, right now, people look at that and go, dude, that's a day one buy for me. That's what it is. Then if you look at other games, like when Watch Dogs came out and Assassin's Creed came out and Spider-Man, when they first came out and showed you all those trailers and stuff, you're like, dude, that looks crazy. And then when they come out, you see the downgrade of what the visuals look like and stuff. And as you're saying, with the cloud and the digital and all the stuff, they're going to have to downgrade it, right? And this is nothing to give shit to Amy Hennig or anything like that. I'm just talking realistically here. Like, it looks beautiful, but it's not going to be like and again, we know nothing about the game, but because, again, experience, because it looks like what it looks like, it's not going to be a game that's super hard or difficult like a Dark Souls type of game or anything like that. It's going to be very, very Uncharted, movie-esque type of game, go through action adventures, lots of dialogue, and that's what it is, right? It's a Marvel game, which is like what Marvel movies are for movies, okay? Marvel movies are not... The rest of the movie industry looks at it and goes, that's not a movie, that's just a popcorn whatever, right? And video gamers look at this and go, that's not a game, that's just a movie game type of thing. And it is. That's the type of thing it is. I like the interaction like that. I think the technological wise of Unreal Engine is phenomenal. I look forward to seeing what people can do with this, especially an individual, because you look at certain games, the way they make by themselves. And all I watched a lot of the tech demos, which I didn't watch on stream earlier. So I watched a lot of tech demos, Sarge, of what Epic could do with the Unreal Engine. And it's insane what they can do in the future and the tools they make. So I could basically, if I gave a shit and wanted to like learn the Unreal Engine, I could probably come up with something pretty damn good in a small amount of time. I'm not talking about a major game, but I could come up with something based on the stuff they let you use within the tool sets that they have. And this is why it shouldn't be longer for games. They're trying to Unreal is making this stuff so games don't take 5 years. Unreal's making this stuff so it doesn't cost $300 million to make a video game. You know what I mean? They're trying to lower the cost for the developers to make it. Why? Yes. Because they want to make the biggest profit as possible. So they want to make it work easier for the developers, not harder for the developers. They want to make it so it's quicker for the developers so they can return on investment faster, sooner, and for more money, because obviously if they can do a game in 1 year instead of 3 years and then sell it for $70, they're going to save a shit ton of money on their car insurance, aren't they?
No, yeah, but be honest. Most of these games, take at least 5 years, right? And the amount of money you're spending on a AAA title for 5 years, if it doesn't work... Listen, there's so much to go... This has opened up a can of worms now. Let's take this one point at a time. The reason why there's so many games as a service out now is because they're terrified of spending that many years and that much money on a 5 to 7 year game to come out. And if it doesn't work, and it's just a normal game and it doesn't work, you just pissed away 5 years. Well, whereas if it's a games as service, right? At least if the game comes out and only a small percentage of people buy it, then you know at least that percentage of people that bought it will give you the reoccurring money that you need for the time that it's out. And so you'll spend the time patching it and doing whatever else to keep that core group of people there, so they keep doing the reoccurring spending, so you can milk it for what it's worth because you spent all that time on it. Unreal Engine comes out and finds out new ways to make these game engines so you don't have to spend the 5 years now. Now you only have to spend 3. So you save 2, maybe 3 years of labor to make the same type of game. So now maybe you don't have to roll the dice on a live service. Maybe I can just make a game and sell a game. Maybe. But this is the reason why things are going in this direction. They're looking for the biggest buck for the lowest input, right? That's the way it works. If I can make a game in 2 years and make $700 million, or I'm going to use my team for 7 years and gamble on $1 billion or only 200 million, where we're going to lose our ass, which one am I going to pick?
Right.
But the greed level for them, they think, and they've been doing this for years, the special ed AAAs, as I call them, right? The special ones, think that they're going to think that they have the teams in place that they can put this time in, plus the live service, no matter fail or makes it, and they're going to succeed. Diablo 4, perfect example. Everyone keeps talking about Diablo 4 like the game is fucking dead. Okay?
There's millions of people playing.
I got news for you. Number 1, not dead. Number 2, it doesn't matter if the game exploded and was erased from the universe tomorrow.
They made the money.
They made all their money that they wanted to make. Everything else that they're making based on the things that you guys are buying inside the game is gravy on the potatoes, right? They made their money. So this entire back and forth of the patches and the things that we're going to do and the things that we're trying to bring back, like they're doing that for the people that are inside the game, that are hardcore, that those are the loyalists, that you want to get that recurring money from them. The rest of us who enjoyed action RPGs for years are saying, I have a better choice. I got PoE. I got, well, what's the other one? There's like 4 of them now. I got this one I can play, right? I have choices. I don't need to plant the flag inside Diablo 4 and say, well, it's this or nothing.
Right.
Like, that's not what it is now.
Yeah.
But that's how they treat it. And so all the media keeps talking about the same thing over and over again, and how it's almost gone. If the game's going to disappear, nobody cares. Nobody cares, right? I got a good percentage of people that I know that keep talking about, they talk about PoE like it's out already. Like they're just waiting.
Oh, Path of Exile 2?
They're just waiting. They're just waiting. Right? Yes. Did you buy? And by the way, you fucking hate Diablo 4, but you all bought it. Right? You guys hate it. You're bored of it. Whatever your answer is that you stopped playing it, but it doesn't matter because you already gave them the money. We're good.
The Path of Exile 2 is a free-to-play game, remember? So people don't put the money up. And it works. Why? Because free-to-play games have to work when they come out.
Have to work.
Have to work.
Yeah.
Right.
It's amazing how that works, right? It's amazing to me that the business level, the business-minded people see this on. It's right. It's being handed to you. You should say to yourself, well, if I pay for this game, there's a 50% chance that the game's not going to work at all. But if I buy the free game, right, or if I download the free game, it's got to work, right? Because otherwise I won't stay, right? If that's your logic and that's how you see how gaming works, then what are you paying for a game for, right?
Right.
What are you paying for a game for? Is the gamble? Maybe you like to gamble, like maybe you like to put the money on the line and hope for a good game, like that's what it is. Like you
There's
buy
no return on investment on that.
You hope it works. Like you buy a loaf of bread and you hope there's bread, right?
Yeah.
Or if
I hope it's not moldy. I hope it's not moldy.
Like you don't care, but like for some reason, I think that the gaming industry found out that because gaming is such a disposable income, like if you and this goes for many years now, the dollar. I'm going to say this wrong. The dollar cost average for entertainment in the gaming sphere as opposed to other areas of entertainment is the best ratio ever. Like the amount of hours that you spend entertaining yourself with a video game is better than any other form of entertainment. Dollars to donuts. It just is. And so they realize that it's such a disposable income that they can get away with more because you have so many other choices. It's just like this little drop in the well. Like, you think $70 is a lot of money. Yeah, if you think about it, if you're under a fixed income, $70 is a lot of money. But if you didn't have video games and you had to spend money on other forms of entertainment, you would be spending probably 6 or 7 times more for the same amount of time. So it doesn't matter what you say, it's what we do. So they realize this, and they know, well, we know how far we can push them now. We've been doing this a while. So we know that if I release the biggest piece of shit ever, right, charge them 60, give them 10 days, then give them free shit in game.
Then release the patch.
Then release the patch. They won't ask for their money back. Like they know what they have to do to hang on to the money.
Yeah, because we care.
Because we care. Yeah.
I think all this is planned. I don't think it's oh, sorry about that. They're like, oh, see, we're listening. We have this communication between the players and the. Speaking of people that made a shit ton of money, okay. Now, we talked about Bungie in the past, that they don't know how to manage money. Okay, we
know this for a fact.
Yeah, a fact. Now we know that they can't. Okay, but then there's a company that made Palworld, right? And Palworld Dev says massive profits are too big for a studio with our size to handle. Okay. Now, it says the boss of Palworld developer Pocket Pair has said the company can't handle the massive profits the game has generated. Okay, Palworld launched in January overnight, became one of the biggest games in the world, setting records not only on Steam, but also on Xbox Game Pass, where the biggest third-party game launched ever. So far, $30 Pokemon with guns crafting survival game has seen an incredible 25 million players, with 15 million copies sold on Steam and 10 million copies of players on Xbox. All right, speaking to interview, Pocket Pair boss said that the game cost us 1 billion yen, which was $6.7 million to make, okay, and has made tens of billions of yen in profit. For context, 10 billion yen is around $67.2 million, okay? It's the amount is too big for the studio our size to handle, said Mizobi, who later clarified he has no intentions of expanding or offering shares in the company. Rather, he wants Pocket Pair to remain small. It currently 55 people, okay, and had an open partnership or acquisition, but instead he has not started to buyout talks with Microsoft. Perhaps more pressing, Pocket Pair is talks of bringing Palworld to more platforms, suggesting the potential PlayStation 5 and Nintendo console release in the future. Okay, so this is almost like No Man's Sky situation. Okay, No Man's Sky sold a crap ton off the PlayStation and the PC when it came out. And that was, at the time, 14 people working at the studio. And they sold somewhere around 10 to 15 million units of No Man's Sky, right? We don't know the official, right? But somewhere around there. They say they've made so much money off the original release, off the game. This is why they don't ever have to charge for anything adding to No Man's Sky. Yeah. Well, it's been 7 years. They haven't yet to charge, okay? They've made 2 games since then, while that studio's been doing No Man's Sky and updating No Man's Sky. Palworld right now, 25 million copies, and this company's like, yeah, we have way so much money we don't know what to do with, but we're not hiring, right? And at least they know, right? At least they're aware of them going, wow, we have a shit ton of money. What do I do, right? Sad because they have an article out, because now someone's going to knock on their door. Hello, yes, I'm an accountant. I can help you with your money.
No, but and I know this sounds strange. There's no difference between a guy who's never had money before, who wins the lottery and then goes broke in 3 years, or a development studio who's never made it big, who makes a lot of money and then all of a sudden spends their money and dies off, right? There's no difference. It's the same. Palworld acknowledging it, being self-aware enough to acknowledge it, is fantastic. Now, hire a financial advisor and somebody go in with you and talk about what your next steps are. Get somebody else in the room. Get somebody from another company who's a CFO or another person. Hire them, right? Maybe hire them for the year or 2 years and figure out what your next move is. Because if you have too much money and you don't know what to do with it, then you start doing Bungie shit, like buying yachts.
Right, and buying a coffee maker, $10,000 espresso machine.
You buy the bling and the gold plane because you think you're a baller, and then realize that all your games are the same and nobody cares after a while. Like, I'm proud of them that they recognize it. But the next step now is to fix it, right?
Right.
If you never know if you're the next you never know the next indie company that's going to have a breakthrough game. Maybe they were smart enough to piggyback off of Pokemon. Maybe they thought about it. They said, we can go for this. Let's see what happens. We don't know what that meeting was like 3 years ago when they started. They go, you know what? Pokemon makes a shit ton of money and their games suck.
Right. Why don't we make a game like it? Yeah.
Why don't we make a game like Pokemon and see if we can do well? Well, answer is yes, you can do well because your game worked.
SimCity sucks. City Skyline was created, right?
Same shit. SimCity had
Pokemon was bad. Pal World came in.
It's the same. It's the same.
Yep.
Listen, the more arrogant AAA companies that there are, the better, and I know it sounds strange, the better off we'll be in the long run because there's always somebody in the wings waiting to step up.
Right.
Waiting to see what is popular, waiting to see what people really enjoy playing and what they're willing to spend money on. And if the AAA guys keep releasing garbage, and it is garbage, I'm sorry, right? This is not one of these things where it's a pass or fail thing where, well, we're making cars, but every car I make crashes. Like, that's not how this works.
Right.
If there's an opening in the market eats its own. That's what the free market is. If you have a lock on something, and you suck at it, somebody else is waiting to take your spot.
Absolutely.
Just like the analogy with your Kleenex.
Yeah,
somebody else is there.
Someone's there.
Somebody else there. Now, the issue is that we have the same development people, and the battle you should be seeing currently is vetted devs who are in toxic companies where there's a conflict of interest within the gaming sphere for them. Like, they know what they want to make, but everybody's chasing the dollar instead of chasing the game. Like, what are we making? Why do we want to make it? And they're like, well, we have to make this because this makes money, right? And that's the tear inside the company. So if you've been keeping track, right, you realize now that there are multiple studios that have been just discovered, right? That nobody knows who they are because nobody's talking about them because they haven't released the game yet. But these studios are made up of vetted guys who have walked away from AAA studios who are making their own studio, right? So now we have to wait for the next group of guys. The important thing here is that if those developers who are vetted 20-year, 30-year in the business, who have started their own company because the corporations got too big and bad around them, it's important that they find other devs who are up and coming in the industry and be able to teach them what they know and grow the company from there. Not let them go to the corporate world into AAA companies where they're trying to harvest them and put them under lock and key. Well, we got to make this. We got to make Warzone on mobile. We got to make Monopoly Go mobile. Like, they don't want to do that. They want to go back to like the Larian type of people who are like, you know what? We're going to make a D&D game and we're going to make it like this. And I don't want your money. I don't want your money. We don't want any of your money. We'll do it ourselves, right? Because the more money you take, the more people you have to listen to. Right. And it's always better.
It's a lot of chefs.
It's always better to start small, like the development team that did Pal World. You start small, you put passion into it, and if it succeeds, you win because now you can do what you want to do.
Right. Yeah.
That's the point.
The money they made from Pal World is like what Epic made with Fortnite. When Fortnite came out and it was that save the world bomb, biggest turnaround ever in gaming history, as Sarge says. That's never spoken of. The 3-month turnaround from a game worked at 7-8 years on Fortnite to then completely change it to a battle royale, and now they can literally buy anything they want. That's what's happening with Power World right now. They're making so much sales that they can change what literally they want to do with that with that company, and they can do whatever they want next because of the success of Power World.
And that's the sweet spot of gaming. That's where you ended up with the Mass Effect trilogy. That's where you end up with Knights of the Old Republic. That's where you end up with these other games. When you have studios that are built from the ground up doing what they love to do, and then they succeed and they get a following. Right. Not people that are being around being chased. You're being chased to make a game. You got to make this. We got to make this much money. We got to make this. We got to make this much money. That's all that's going on right now.
Yeah.
That's it.
Krebsy said it earlier that, what's it called? Oh, I just lost what I was going to say. Krebsy said it earlier in chat, and now I missed it. It was what you just said. I missed it. What the hell? It was a point to what he said earlier to what you just said now. I can't think of it now. Son of a bitch. All right. Well, anyway, I just blew that one. So let's continue to the next story, right? Bungie, right? So Bungie says that PlayStation reportedly views Bungie acquisition as a failure. Okay. Now it says
they just got him. How is it a failure? They just got him.
Bungie is one of the most celebrated developers in the industry, most famous for the works of Halo and Destiny, and the studio has masterfully crafted two first-person shooter IPs. However, the developer has recently struggled with layoffs, and despite claiming that some found Bungie more valuable than potential Activision Blizzard merger, Sony seems no longer be happy with the team, with reports stating that Bungie is now considered to be a failed purchase. Okay. Why it matters. Sony paid $3.6 billion for Bungie, making the gaming giant most expensive purchase in recent memory. A report comes from Azzacross, a Destiny content creator with nearly 1 million YouTube subscribers. Azzacross said a big part of the community for many years, and his sources are expected to be reliable. Now, according to this email he received, PlayStation believes that the buyout was a complete failure. The corporation has now shifted to focus on recouping its losses since the struggle with its own layoffs last month. Now, the report suggests that Sony is unhappy with Bungie's leadership, holding them responsible for their poor performance of Destiny 2 recently, and following Lightfall, the game has been losing players, adding PlayStation dismay. Okay, it's important to note that Bungie operates independently following the acquisition, however, and the current situation is so dire that the takeover from Sony appears inevitable. Okay, according to the source, PlayStation intends to steer Destiny 2 in a different direction, making it more profitable. Okay, however, Japanese Sony executives have also shown interest in the studio, and the report warns that the part of the Sony ends up calling the shots, Bungie could go through restructuring and fundamental changes. Now, overall, Bungie is stuck in a hard place, and the gaming giant's morale took a major hit recently with Destiny 2 is no longer living up to the expectations. However, with the team teasing Destiny 3 and working on Marathon, a small ray of hope remains. So, obviously, Sarge, this is a rumor. It's from an outside source. We don't know. What do you think's happening here with Sony and Bungie? Do you think Sony is really thinks they're a failure? And we do know Bungie has problems with money and management issues.
Let's talk both sides of the coin, right? So let's say the rumor's true, right? We'll say that the rumor's true. Do you believe that Sony hasn't seen Bungie's track record before they made that deal? Do you actually believe that? Like, they don't know how Bungie operated over the last 10 years. That's why it blows up the rumor right away for me, because nobody does an acquisition without doing their homework.
Well,
right? Now on the other side of the coin, if we're going to go along with this, then Bungie probably just saw it as the lesser of two evils. If I look at the gaming space and I look at all the companies that have done live service over the last decade, and I see who's the winners and who the losers are, even though Bungie's a trash fire, they're the best at doing games of service.
They're the best at trash fires. You're absolutely right.
Because even though it doesn't look like it, because of all the smoke and the fire that we see, but in all, they've gotten people to pay for them for 10 years. Let's be honest, right? They have a loyal fan base, and now at the end, because people are finally leaving after 10 years, you think it's Armageddon. No, maybe it's just time to stop playing the same game after 10 years, and it's not an MMO. Or is it? It's... Right? You know what I mean? So if we believe that, right, then Sony bought them because it was a quick fix for a sector of the business that they were looking to close, which was live service revenue, right?
Well,
so they bought them
live service and another first person just in case they lose Call of Duty.
Whatever. We don't know what the deal is. Like, you're not going to know what the actual deal is. You can get a feeling for it, right? By the way they talk, but if you get through all the technobabble, if it's a business transaction, you can't say you're disappointed. You haven't had a full term with them yet. You got them right. I forgot what the timeline is. I'm gonna get the timeline wrong. Did they purchase them before Lightfall came out?
Yeah.
Or
Lightfall's
after?
not out. Lightfall.
Not Lightfall.
The final shape is the last thing. The last thing to come out.
Did they purchase them?
That hasn't come out yet.
Okay, so
they purchased them in 2022. They purchased them in 2022.
Right. So they looked at their recurring revenue over the last 5 years, which showed strong sales, even though a small decline. But they knew that Bungie declines depending on the DLC, because it goes up and it goes down. Certain DLCs are better than others, but it was in the same range, right? I bet you if we looked at the chart, it's in the same range. So Sony says, well, they're in the same range. We're only going to have them for a couple of years anyway. Let's see what happens if we can close the deal, right? So of course Bungie said yes. They need fucking money. They always need money. Right? We all discussed this. It's basically facts that they can't handle money, right? And that's why they keep jumping from person to person, right? That's why the stripper ex-girlfriend is now perfect. Perfect,
Right.
Perfect analogy for this company. So if you think that they're unhappy, I'm sure they're unhappy, but they didn't get a full cycle with Bungie yet. You didn't see Lightfall yet. You didn't see what's coming out at the end. You don't see how they're going to bang up and finish, right? Do they get a piece of everything that Bungie does? Do they get a piece of the money that they make for the game they're going to sell for 10 cents? Do they or NetEase? They get a piece, right? They get a piece, right?
They own them, yeah.
Okay. Well, you can't say that they're disappointed just yet.
Well, they can.
You have to wait until the things things that you purchased them for.
No, they're upset. No, they're upset though because they bought them before Lightfall came out, and when Lightfall came out, it massively underperformed. Right? It massively underperformed, so much so that they lost 45% of their sales. Okay.
No. That's an incorrect statement. Right? You have to rephrase that in the way that they said it. They underestimated their sales
by 45%. Sure.
Not the actual sales.
Well, what I'm saying is they were whatever they had in their head, Sony had in their head, and
well,
then what Bungie had in their head, and they both talked to each other and said this is what we were supposed to get, and it was 45% lower than that. Well, that's a major disappointment, isn't it?
If I make up a number in my head,
I get it.
If I say I'm worth $1 million, whatever job I'm gonna do, I get $1 million, and I get a job and I get $85,000, right?
It's a failure.
I guess I failed. It's underperforming, right?
That's right.
No, you making up numbers doesn't mean that. What matters is the fact that what is your current population base?
Sure.
And how many people are still spending money, right? That reoccurring money, right? Just because you don't have the initial sales doesn't mean it's a failure. It's overall for the season or for the year. What did we make? 45%. Listen, if you undercut yourself and you said, I'm supposed to sell 1 million units and you only sold 450,000, then I don't think the guys working in the numbers room know how to do numbers. Because if you're off by 45%, then I don't think anyone there knows how to do their job well. Because even if you factor in good and bad based on the numbers of the past, whatever you believe in, 20% up or down, like you have to give yourself a window, right? You're not even in the same house, right? No, 45% isn't even in the same house. It's not even a window. It's the neighbor's house 3 blocks down. That's how far off you are, right? That's ridiculous, right? That's not an actual reasonable account for what you think you're going to make. But you just made up a number, and then you get to plaster it on the wall.
They've owned them but they've owned them for a year. On the wall. They've owned them over 1.5 years now.
But then you get to plaster it on the wall like they are now. And Sony goes, well, it's not our fault. We underperformed by 45%. It's not our fault.
No, but
so you get to say that you underperformed, but it's not really your fault. You see how they try to turn it.
Look,
right?
well, I understand the way it works, but if Bungie says, "Hey, we're projecting this," and Sony goes, "Okay, we're projecting that," and they don't hit that number, then that's a failure because they lied to what they thought they were going to make. Right?
Not a lie.
It is to the company that's banking them on the money that they're making. 100% it is. If you tell me as a manager, yeah, our numbers are awesome, they're great.
Not a lie,
right?
But that's how they get around it. Not a lie.
Well, it is a lie to the company that's backing you, right? Oh, I can sell you 1 million copies, dude. 1 million copies. Just give me time. And then it comes back that you only sold, 500,000, and you're like, you had a year to sell 1 million copies. You didn't sell it, right? It's underperformed.
Making yourself look good on paper, just like anything else in any other kind of finance situation.
This is the problem with the management, though. This is the problem with management. Hence why the article says they are losing faith in Bungie because of upper management. Hence why in 2026, they're going to go bye-bye in 2026 once their contracts are done. Okay, here's what I think happened with Sony and Bungie. Okay, I think Bungie did a nice little pull the hood over Sony's face. Okay, Sony and Bungie, or I'm sorry, PlayStation and Xbox were in battle because of the Activision deal, right? Microsoft announced that we're gonna buy out Activision Blizzard. PlayStation
only had somebody in mind.
PlayStation was freaking out about, well, we might be losing Call of Duty. We might be losing Call of Duty. We're like, yeah, they're not buying it for Call of Duty. They're buying for the mobile. Regardless, now we do know that Phil Spencer went and approached Bungie to buy them. And they were too expensive. And they said, no, you're not worth that, right? You're not worth the $7 billion. So instead,
that's because Phil Spencer understands math.
And then that's why they went over to Bethesda and said, who are we going to buy, Bethesda or Bungie? This one's a better deal than this one because they have more IPs, they have more studios, they have more stuff. This will work better for us over here in the long run. So they made the deal with the 7.2 or 7 whatever billion dollars to buy Bethesda, ZeniMax. Okay, Bungie then wasn't worth $7 billion anymore, and they're like, well, shit, we need a buyer. We got to make us look pretty. So let's approach Sony, and Sony's like, all right, well, what do you got? And they're like, well, we can bring you our live service stuff. We're the best of the best.
Yeah, hang on. Let me show you some of our work.
Yeah.
They start scribbling down on a piece of paper. Look how awesome we are.
Yeah,
look.
Right. And then they said that we'll give you the live service. You guys want to get into live service? We can help you with live service, right? This was the sales pitch. They're like, yeah, your price is a little too high. We can't do 7. They're like, how much are we under? How much is the yacht? The gas bill this week with all the light bulbs in the 280,000 square foot studio we're not using? Oh, all right, 3.2 billion is fine. We'll take 3.2 billion. But I'll tell you what, since we think we're worth more, if we don't hit our points, we'll sell you the company, right? Like they were like hard up for money, like a junkie. Okay, and this is why Sony's like, yeah, okay, we'll pick you up, right? Because this is a win-win deal for Sony over Bungie, because if it fails, they just
manager takes the money and walks.
They just take the whole IPs and everything they have. Okay.
And they walk.
And the best case scenario is Bungie gets away from this by going, hey, you know what? Give us the company, but you guys can have the IPs and we'll walk away, right? And they're holding it back for something else. I don't know. I think there's a big major fuck up along the way. They pulled it over Sony's eyes. Sony's like, what's going on here? But these are just my thoughts, right? I'm just speculating based on what's happening. Some of it's factual and some of it's just made up in my own head.
Somebody said it in chat, but I don't think I'll add to the person. Wolverine. I believe that before 2026, Bungie will be shattered.
Oh, for sure. But I'm going by the article, Wolverine. You're absolutely right, right?
No, I mean shattered. That's it.
I'm going by the article that said 2026, which is the next article we actually have for Bungie.
Yeah, done.
Yeah, the next article we have is Bungie replaces Marathon director amidst leadership shakeup fears, right? Now, this is some like dodgy shit. Now, obviously, as consumers, we really don't care like what's going on, right? We do because we're just in the business and we're talking about stuff, right? But as far as Chris Barrett, okay, was the director. He came out last May saying, hey, I'm the director of Marathon and this is what's happening. And then Joe Ziegler, who replaces him, took the place of him in July, just a couple weeks after. Now, this is all silent. This is all quiet, right? That the director of Marathon just got promoted or moved or something. We really don't know what happened to him, but Joe Ziegler is now the director of Marathon. Marathon has been rumored that it could be canceled. They canceled Matter. They canceled.
It can't be canceled because that's their jumping off point for the next thing.
Sure.
Can't be canceled. Delayed, yes, but not canceled.
Well, Matter's canceled. Yeah, Marathon's still going, right? But they're having problems with it. It says, amidst the ongoing annexity of the Bungie following layoffs last year, the studio is now preparing for another shakeup in times of Marathon, its upcoming service game intended for the next step beyond Destiny. According to the multiple sources familiar with the matter, Bungie is in the midst of shifting around the creative leadership in Marathon, including removing the long-term Bungie designer Christopher Barrett from the game director role. IGN learned at the beginning replaced by former Valorant game director Joe Ziegler, who left Riot Games for Bungie in 2022. Now, IGN reached out to Bungie for a comment whether or not Barrett will remain with the company, and Bungie has not yet responded. So, to IGN's request for comment shortly after they reached out to Ziegler, confirmed that his appointment as game director, he says, first, the last 9 months have been working out on Marathon as the game director, meaning Chris Barrett was announced in May. He was announced in July, but wasn't announced. It was just like a hush-hush, but he's been there since that time. It says, while it's going on, sources tell IGN Bungie is pouring resources into getting Marathon out the door. The games director has shifted somewhat under Ziegler's new leadership. One source says, including moving away from the custom player characters in favor of a selectable cast of heroes, which is more like an Apex Legends or like an Overwatch type of thing. It says, while upcoming Destiny 2 expansion, The Final Shape, is also being prioritized, there's also growing fears and rumors of layoffs that will immediately follow its release. One person with knowledge of the budget at Bungie told me that nothing adds up, and something will need to happen to curb costs unless The Final Shape does super well to cover up the gap and people can move on to Marathon. It says when Sony acquired Bungie, the studio brought with it a number of other incubation projects, including MOBA-like game codenamed Gummy Bears and a new IP known as Matter. According to sources, Matter was canceled back in 2020, but the team continued working on this similar projects with slightly different directions until 2 was canceled in late 2022. Gummy Bears, meanwhile, is currently in holding pattern due to the ongoing company struggles. Now, within the company, there's also growing expectations that the senior company leadership will leave in droves in the summer of 2026 when the final payouts of Sony's acquisition of the companies take effect. Right? While I was reading that, I was thinking about something. And again, because I still think Bungie will some way get away from Sony's grasps. I just have a feeling. I think Bungie will sell the IP of Destiny to them. They'll give them Marathon because Marathon's an older game as well, like IP for
no,
them.
They need Marathon.
No. Listen to this, right? Buy Marathon is theirs. Sony's taking Marathon. Sony's taking Destiny. Okay, but Matter and this Gummy Bear game, I think that if they made it before they got to Sony and they didn't make it while they were under Sony, then that's still theirs. And they're like, well, if you just take the IP over here and they'll take it away, and then you know what I'm saying? I feel like some way, shape, or form,
shed
Bungie,
some weight.
Yeah, Bungie's gonna get out of this deal.
Live off the scraps. Yeah,
Bungie's gonna get out of this deal. I love seeing it where Bungie will break off in some way, shape, or form down the road again, because they're like that toy, you know, that little slimy thing that you try to hold on to as a kid. It's just a bag of slime, you know what I mean? And you try to grab it, it just keeps sliping out. Yeah, the little worm thing. Out of your hand. Yeah, that's Bungie right now, right? Doesn't matter what company they're with, they just buy out their way and they get away. I just have a feeling, for some reason, I'll laugh my ass off if it happens down the road. But yeah, so Bungie's just in trouble, man. Right now, they're all over the place. Management is in shatters, okay? But they've been like that for years. Now it's just out in public, right? Now it's just out in the public.
Well, just like the fact that you're talking about it now in chat. They're talking about the guy was replaced 9 months ago. So you don't believe that the media held back the interview or the story that the director was changed. That would seem kind of important for most gaming news. Now, if it was mentioned, was it a blurb, or did every journalist in the entire industry think that a change of director? Nobody knows, right?
Nobody knew.
Nobody's putting an ear to the ground about what's going on in the gaming industry, right? Only when it matters. Only when it matters. Then all of a sudden it comes out. Like, it was 9 months ago. Well, why would you know now?
It's very interesting because a lot of industry insiders and stuff are buddies with some of those people.
Right. If there's a director change, somebody fucking knows.
Right. I just find it funny.
It's not a surprise. Let's just put it that way. It's not a fucking surprise. All right. I no longer can look at the industry as me waiting for a game to play. I see all of it now. So it takes me a while to process all the information now. It's not about waiting for the next game to come out. It's about waiting for the next line of bullshit to come out. Right? I will go along with you and I'll say that Bungie will shed its skin.
Something's going to happen, Krebsy.
Like a lizard and go off with a new skin someplace else. But they're not going to leave without leaving their IP behind because Sony's going to take it from them.
Oh, yeah. They're taking the IP of Destiny. Destiny is Sony's. Regardless of what happens to Bungie, Destiny is now owned by Sony.
Well, let's be honest. If I pretend like I love Destiny to death, but really I don't care about it anymore because I've been working on it for 10 years and Sony wants to take it from me out of the deal, it's like, oh, no, don't take Destiny from us. Oh no! Yeah. And then when they take Destiny, they're like, "Sweet, they got Destiny." We're out of here.
Yeah. We don't have to deal with that community anymore.
Yeah. Right.
And then Sony looks at it and goes, "All right, we got a game like Call of Duty now. We can do something with this.
We could do something with this, right? It's a win-win."
So, I want to talk about. We're a little over time. We're going to skip a couple stories. I want to talk about Suicide Squad real fast. Nothing's real fast, but
nothing real fast with Suicide Squad.
So Suicide Squad, they did the thing, Sarge. They did the thing where I said a couple weeks, actually, right after I beat the game, I said I hope that the characters that come into the next rendition of Brainiac, Superman, Brainiac, Green Lantern is not the same fight at the end when you fight him, right? And just rehash that fight.
Oh well, come on now.
Well, I knew it was going to happen, but now I have proof it's going to happen.
You know, it's fact, or you think?
It's 100% fact. They showed a trailer earlier today Okay. And there's a part in the trailer that shows the little arena pops out of the water and you like fight him. It's a different arena, like an area that the arena popped in, but the arena is like the same. And you're just fighting Superman. So if you like the Superman fight, you're going to be doing the Superman fight again. If you like the Green Lantern fight, you're going to be doing the Green Lantern fight again. Now, my issue with this is, okay, cool. There was only 4 bad guys in the thing, Justice League members. There was Batman, Flash, Green Lantern, and Superman. So after season 1, there's only one character left they have to rehash, which is Batman, right? Because they already did Flash in the main game. They did Green Lantern and Superman during season 1 here. Batman, maybe season 2 or farther down the road. But then, does the boss fights change, or do they just rehash the boss fights again down the road with a different spin on them? I know.
Come on, bro.
I know. So
how long do you think it takes to develop an entire boss fight?
Well, including the 3 and 5 years they were actually working on the game.
A new boss fight. Like, look, you know how this goes. If I can reuse assets in a game to save money and time, I will. However, you're allowed to use the same assets as long as you change the facade on them and make me believe it's like something else, right? If you're one of them super nerd people, right, like us for certain things, and you're looking at a level in a game, you can kind of tell if they're using the same assets a lot. If you're really looking, like you could tell. A lot of people don't care. Doesn't bother them, right? So for most people, it doesn't matter. But if it's a blatant reuse of assets, just throwing in another guy to fight, I guess it's okay for some people. And other people will be like, if it's just the same thing, then I guess it's cool to play the same character for a little while, but am I really going to stay inside the game?
Well, saying that, now they showed this right here, and it says it begins next week, next Thursday. So I'll play it in the morning before we have the show, and I'll give you a little heads up about Joker and stuff. Now, Joker looks cool. They showed some gameplay with him, but we saw gameplay of him months ago. But something I want to know more about is right here. It says Episode 1, Fear, okay? And then it says Episode 2, Mid-Season Update. Now, I don't know if it's supposed to be 12 weeks for Season 1. Now, Episode 1 is 6 weeks, and Episode 2 is 6 weeks.
Well, that's actually like a real season. Like an actual
season.
Yeah,
so 6 weeks.
Not like a made-up season.
Yeah, so 6 weeks you have Episode 1, Fear. And then in this, you have the new playable character, the Joker. You have the new Battle Pass that's coming in, so actually be a live service game, so we'll see what that is. We have the Green Lantern Brainiac fight. We have some new shop items. They have some new Infamous sets and Notorious gear. They have the new Insurgents and Strongholds. We don't know what Strongholds are. It would have been nice if they told us what that was, like maybe tomorrow. I have no idea. And then it says Elseworld Mayhem Map. Okay. But they also don't show Scarecrow. And they said Scarecrow was coming in the first season, and they have a Scarecrow gun, right? But they said Scarecrow the first season. And then in Episode 2, they have Superman Brainiac fight. They have new infused enemy types. They have an ever-changing Metropolis, which they have a couple of different modes. Okay, they have new Infamy set, new Notorious gear, new weapons. Here's the thing, man. In the beginning, they said that they're adding 6 new things, which I guess they are. I guess the new incursions and strongholds, but they're breaking it up across the season. So 6 weeks, you're getting the small. I don't know what this is, though. You know what I'm saying? Like 6 weeks is the content that they're bringing in the game with the new incursions and strongholds, because yes, they have the upside down triangle going, where if you want endgame gear, you can go for the Notorious weapons over here for this season 1 or 0 and then season 1. But I don't know if there's enough here. I don't know if there's enough here to keep it going, because I talked about this with Helldivers, right? Where Helldivers, you don't know the roadmap. There is no roadmap for Helldivers, right? So if they add a weapon, it's a surprise. You're like, oh my God, they gave us a weapon. It was never announced. They just gave you a weapon unless you find something that was a leaked document or data mining. This, they're telling you, yeah, you got this gun, this gun, this gun, this map, this character, this is what it is. And you're like, all right, 6 weeks. Is that going to be enough to keep you busy? I don't know. And this season, okay, not the entire season, just this first part of this season, I think is a make or break for this game. As far as the game's going to last a year and a half, regardless. It is. But is the player base going to come back and play the game?
Okay, but my point is, do I need to buy something to come back?
No.
Okay, so if I don't need to buy something to come back, then what is it I'm coming back for?
You're coming
that
back
you
for the
need
new
me to come
Infamous
back?
set, the new Notorious gear,
So what am I buying in the store? Like what is it?
cosmetics.
What is it? Do I need the people come in to buy? Like the
Cosmetics.
cosmetics?
That's it. Just
That's
cosmetics.
it.
That's it.
Okay.
Cosmetics.
So their initial sales are weak, and now they're trying to find a way to hang on to a loyal base so you can buy skins from them for the next 18 months.
Right.
That's basically what we're looking
Right.
at.
So those incursion missions and strongholds really need to keep people coming back, right? To grind for this gear.
Right. So how many of the 20%ers do we need to hang on before and by the way, I don't believe you 100% when you say the game's going to last a year because you think it is.
No,
Like,
I don't think it is. They have inside the game, they show 13 Brainiacs. That's part of the main game. 13 Brainiac fights.
I understand. What I'm telling you is I don't believe that if enough people stay, that they'll finish out what they're promising they're going to release because you don't have to pay for it anyway.
Well, that's
this is my point, right? This is my point. If they don't get enough people to stay and give them reoccurring revenue, then it doesn't matter what they told you is coming out. They'll decide that, well, it's not working out for us. We're not going to release it.
Well, I think that the reason I think this, and again, this is a speculation, I think that the content's done. Hence why they announced 13 Brainiacs that you're fighting. You bought one at the end and 12 in the end game type of stuff for the seasons.
Maybe.
I think that because it's done, that it's going to last at least the 20 months to, if not 24 months, which is 2 years, and then be done. Now, if worst case,
the initial run of the game,
correct. Now, the worst case scenario is it's done, and then they just go, you know what? Here's all the content. Boom. They just drop all the content at once because the game's done, right? And then they get a resurgence of, oh, now it's on sale for $40 and everything's in the game, right? Type of stuff. I can see that happening. Okay,
maybe,
but I definitely think this game lasts the 20 months with the 6 seasons that they have planned, right? And technically, it's not even 6 seasons now, because in this one season they're bringing 2 guys. No, so it is still 6 seasons, yeah, because that last title screen, shows it.
Is it? I'm curious to know. Is the game peer to peer, or is there servers you're on with them?
No, there's servers, and then the problem is with the servers were fucked up this entire time.
So that's my issue. My issue is if they don't make enough money, I don't think they allow it to keep going because there's no reason. Because of this, if it was peer to peer and you could just play it online, that'd be fine.
Well,
but because you're on their servers, if they're not making enough revenue to keep those servers active for the player base that they want, there's nothing stopping them from saying, you know what, didn't work out. Sorry about that. Moving on.
Yeah.
Right. That's why this list of promises you get. We have all these seasons. We have all these battle passes. We got 6 more guys coming out. You guys are going to be fucking amazed. Like all this promise, right? But if the game's not good enough to hold out for that long, and you're not giving them the money that they need to survive, then why be there?
That's another reason I think the game is already done, and that's why that no matter what, they've already paid for this stuff. The only reason they keep the developers in the studio to make more content is if this does well. Then they start ramping up to make seasons 7, 8. You know what I mean? Like down the road. And Paul says that they're adding an offline option, so maybe the peer-to-peer can come out.
I don't have Goldfish. Just so we're clear, I don't have Goldfish Brain, so I'll be keeping track.
Dupla says live service games aren't working. Let's go back to the actual giving a shit about. Well, for our last story, Dupla, it's perfect timing, right? For what you just said, right? So there's an article that was written by GameIndustry.biz about an upcoming, and this is an opinion piece about an upcoming Harry Potter live service game, right? Live service games are not bad. They're not. Okay? Live service games are not bad. It's bad games that are live service that are bad. And that's my opinion. Okay? A bad game's a bad game. A good game's a good game. A live service game's a live service game. And if it's a bad or good game, depends on if it's a bad or good game. And if it's a live service bad or a live service good. There are good live service games. Okay? You can get tired of those games. But if someone likes a IP or a brand, it's good for those people that are fans of those things, right? So there's a stat that 50% of people don't even finish the games they get. That's regardless if it's a single-player game, multiplayer game, live service game. It doesn't matter. 50% of the people don't even finish the games that they started, okay? Now, this person writes an upcoming Harry Potter live service game, and what I wanted to ask you, Sarge, about the live service aspect is that I think what Grand Theft Auto is doing and what No Man's Sky is doing is the way a live service game should be done. And now Helldivers, okay? Where Helldivers is doing something completely different, where there's no roadmap. It's a live service game. They're constantly changing it as they go, what they do. Grand Theft Auto sold you a single player game and then added an online mode later. Okay, so you can constantly play it if you want and then spend stuff if you want, but you don't have to play that online game. It's an add-on, free add-on. Okay, same with No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky, you could play solo. You could play single player with that, and you can never ever play multiplayer if you don't want to, or you can jump in and play multiplayer, and it's a live service aspect of the game, right? It's like an add-on to the single player aspect of the game. So when they talk about a Harry Potter live service game, I said earlier this week, it'd be stupid to make a standalone separate game. Like Hogwarts Legacy exists. It would be stupid to make a Harry Potter game and then make that a live service game where you already have the inn with the player base that has Hogwarts Legacy. 22 million people bought, or 23 million people bought Hogwarts Legacy. Okay. You don't have to make them buy anything. All you got to do is just add like a Grand Theft Auto Online to Hogwarts Legacy Online. Okay. You walk to the menu system, you play the single player game, and now you log into the multiplayer aspect of the game, right? Done deal. 23 million people already have your game, okay? And then now you have an online. And then other people that didn't get the game will be like, oh shit, they have an online part of this game, and then they go into that live service aspect, right? To me, that's a win-win because they already played the single player game, they enjoyed that game, and then there's more game for those people to enjoy, and they can just keep adding to it like a Grand Theft Auto Online. Now, if you do this with any IP, any brand that's out there, to add a game, live service aspect to Starfield, right? People played Starfield, you bought Starfield, you played the single player of Starfield, but now they add a live service aspect to it, which is separate, but added on top of that thing. Is this good or bad? Sarge's really thinking here.
I don't like the vocabulary first and foremost because no one ever agreed about it. The media just started talking about it, what a live service game actually is. All a live service game to me is a game that's out, and then you continue to make content for that game in the form of whatever, but real content like a DLC or a sequel, right? That's a live service.
Right.
To them, a live service could be anything. Oh, I released a mission that you walk around in the same game and do the same mission over again, but you're killing the guy who's blue instead of the guy who's red. That's content. That's not content, right? And so the reoccurring revenue is what it's talking about. And you staying in the game long enough to purchase items is the issue of a live service. That's what a live service actually is. You want reoccurring spending for a game that you already paid for. That's what a live service is to me, the actual language, right? Not content.
Right.
You're paying more money to keep playing the game, right? Hogwarts Legacy could do all sorts of things because that IP has never been, and I know you guys are going to run with this one. You're probably going to clip it. Well, Hogwarts Legacy hasn't been touched in that way, right? It just hasn't, right? It's pure and untouched, right? And so they could do another sequel.
Sure, but that takes 3 to 5 years.
Or they could do what you're saying and just add more stuff to the game that's currently there.
That's what I'm saying.
You already have your population base. So 100% agree with you. However, I don't think the people who made Hogwarts Legacy have the skills to do that with the game. Not everybody can do everything.
Sure.
Right? The online version of that, what it would entail, what kind of developers they would need to do that.
Just put it in perspective, someone came out with a mod 3 days after the game came out as a co-op mod where like 15 to 20 people were playing multiplayer inside of Hogwarts Legacy.
That's a conversation we can't have because the show is supposed to end, and that conversation just there alone would be another hour.
Yeah.
So I'll add to that. So explain to me how a development team who's been working on a game for 5+ years can't figure out how to do something, but yet a guy in his spare time who knows how to program the engine that they're working with can add the things that they say that they cannot. And it happens a lot now. A lot. How they can't do multiplayer, or how they can't do co-op. You don't want to do it. That's okay. You can say that. We didn't want to do that. That's fine. But when you say we couldn't do it, but the guy on over here who's drinking like 18 Celsius a day and just pounding out code and can figure out how to do co-op, we know you're lying.
Well, I'm going to say one more thing about the Hogwarts. The Hogwarts Legacy team, people asked them, they said, are you coming out with paid DLC or is it free? And they did say, no, it's going to be free. No one has to pay for anything.
It doesn't need to be.
No, but what I'm saying is they said that it's going to be a free content. So
I don't know how I can express to you any way. I don't want free content.
But this is why
I want to know. Listen, when you tell me something's free, I know you put very little effort into it.
Well,
like
this is what I'm saying.
I'm giving you something to do. I want to pay for a product that actually has some meat on the bone.
Well, they're adding content to the game, and they said it's going to be free. And I'm just saying that it could be something as an online mode. Co-op mode. It could be something just a simple thing.
It'd be Quidditch, and that's all. Just to have people play online.
Quidditch would be an entirely different game completely, which they are making. They are making a separate Quidditch game, and this is my point. Why?
But it won't be FIFA.
Yeah, but why are you separating your player base from one game? Because if I make Hogwarts Legacy 2, no one's playing Hogwarts Legacy 1. It's dead. That's a dead game. People buy it to go play before they get to 2. But 2's out there. Or you can just continuously bring people to that same game because you don't know if Hogwarts Legacy 2 is going to sell 23 million copies, but you do know Hogwarts Legacy 1 did.
Okay, but then the developers of Hogwarts Legacy could take a page from the Bungie handbook and stop calling your game numbers and just say it's the same game, but here's the next chapter.
Yeah.
Right? That's what Hogwarts Legacy can do. Hogwarts Legacy can come out with an addition to the game that you go visit another school or another adventure with another kid from the school that he graduated 4 years after you left, right? And you can just continue from there. Can you still walk around and complete the other stuff that you haven't completed before? Let's say you played the game for 50 hours but didn't do everything. Now you bought the DLC, and now you're back in the same game going on a different adventure. But you can go back now and find all the stuff that you missed because you haven't been back because you've been too busy playing other games. Right? That would be the perfect example of what to do when you want people to come back to the game that they didn't finish the first time around. You're giving them a reason to come back, right? 100% agree with you. You could do that. Doesn't need to be an online version. Just add to the game.
Right.
The DLC. Listen, Bethesda did it well when they did like the original Fallout 3. Right. And I know it sounds strange for those of you who never played it before, but Fallout 3 was a really quick ending if you accidentally solved the game early. But when you sold the DLC, you actually went back to the normal game and you went to a different area, but you were still in the same game. Right. Same concept.
Right.
Same exact concept. If you didn't want the DLC, you didn't have to buy it. Could you still go back and just hang out inside the game and play around with it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you got the DLC to give you a reason to go look around again.
Yeah,
same concept.
Dupless, you're looking at it, though, you're like, if you already played everything in the game, why would you play in co-op? In this scenario that you're making up, that I'm also making up, in my world, it's like a Grand Theft Auto Online. They just add to Hogwarts Legacy. You've already done everything.
Your friend didn't play it. Your friend didn't play it. You did.
You've already done everything in Grand Theft Auto, but the online is a completely separate game. It has its own missions. It has its own thing. It's its own game. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying you're playing the same game again with online. I'm saying that it's an online mode, like a Grand Theft Auto Online, just added to Hogwarts Legacy. That's what I'm talking about. What's going on, Kinger? Hogwarts Legacy After School Adventures DLC, $30. Now, I want to pay for DLC. I like paying for DLC because I know that they put some time into it and whatever.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. So, all right. That's going to do it for Generation X Gaming. I've had a really long day. I got to still edit stuff. I did 3 shows today. I did the live gaming show this morning. I did an afternoon show for the entertainment show that you can watch on Nerding with 30. It'll be up tomorrow. It starts at 7 a.m. It'll be up there for you guys to watch all weekend. And then we just did Generation X Gaming. My voice needs to rest. I'm not going to talk for the next 3 days. So thanks for watching. Make sure you please share, like, subscribe. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do this Monday through Thursday on this channel for live shows in the AM from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We do uploads. We do live streams. We do gameplay. I have 30 and Still Gaming, which does gameplay. We have 30 NSG that does live shows. And then we have Nerding with 30, which does entertainment stuff, TV shows, movies, and conversations like that. Appreciate it very much. Episode 388's in the can, and you guys have a great rest of your day and weekend, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.
Game on, guys.
two brothers and gamers that have been playing games since the early 1980s. Combined, they have over 65 years experience. Join them each week as they discuss and rant about gaming and entertainment news. This is Generation X Gaming.